Hello everyone, my name is Nguyen Hami Emily from class B6A. Today I am here to talk about why AI is unreliable in education. You may be thinking, why would anyone want to think that? I definitely use I definitely use technology every day at home, computers, phones, and everything. But I still found many disadvantages and negative impacts of AI. So today I'm going to share about it. So firstly, what is AI? AI stands for artificial intelligence. It is when a robot or a device does a task that requires human intelligence. Here are some examples of AI. There is Grammarly, which I usually use when I write. There's Google Assistant. There is Chess AI, and there are also self-driving cars. Google. Google is known to be smarter than most people. I have gotten roasted by Google once, so. And you know why it's smart? It's because people combine their knowledge to create articles or answer frequently asked questions on the internet. It's like how scientists sometimes need to rely on other people's points as well, because one cannot know everything. AI is smarter than some teachers, yet it is unable to create the same good atmosphere a normal teacher makes. However, robots are not the only examples of AI learning. There's also courses such as Schoology or Google Classroom. During fourth grade, I did use the online course Google Classroom. And in each course, the teacher made a video explaining each lesson. However, there was this one supposedly kind of hard math problem that I didn't understand even after watching the video 10 times on repeat. So I got stuck there, it took a while, and it was only until often school started again before I could actually be able to talk to the teacher, ask her directly face-to-face, and understand the solution to the problem. Getting stuck is not a joke, and it will happen to most students. During fifth grade, however, I started using this app called Google Meet, and I really liked using it. It improved the interaction between the students and the teacher. And there was also the Google Chat, so I could rickroll my class. And now during sixth grade, I still use it too, and I find it very enjoyable. I also use Schoology as well. And it's online courses with usually multiple choice tests so I can do. AI learning advantages. Here is one way that a school can use to help a student. First, the school can see the student's learning speed and learning level, and then the school can create a personalized course based on the student. It will really assist the student in their stages of learning. Now, here are some general disadvantages of AI learning. The first one, studies show students who use AI to learn will lack emotional intelligence or social skills. It's really bad for them because you will need those skills in life later when you do job interviews or maybe applications for colleges. The students will lack thinking power because AI can only grade multiple choice questions well. The cost of AI. AI is very expensive. Your phone is probably expensive. Your computer probably costs a lot too. And imagining having to buy a bunch of devices for a whole school of students. It will cost a lot, especially when the devices break. That's why only well-funded schools can actually benefit from AI. Unemployment. After the students start using AI more, you won't really need the teachers, which means they're basically useless, I'm sorry. And they will probably be fired. Information in the wrong hands. This is when a student's personal information could get exposed to the outer world, and outsiders. It's really dangerous for them and at a high risk. AI learning can also make the class unproductive. When I started to use Google Meet, I had usually Wi-Fi problems, camera problems, microphone problems. I couldn't interact with the teacher, and it's really unproductive. There were also some students who skipped class. They didn't even enter Google Meet, and they ended up skipping a whole lesson too. And most importantly, the students. Why the students? Here is an example. In China, there are many places and schools that use these brainwave trackers to see a student's level of concentration. The disadvantage of my example. Based on many daily news that I have read, and I quote, while many parents see these as tools to improve grades, they become a student's worst nightmare. Imagining having a device that can somehow read your mind. We need our privacy. I don't think those parents should so selfishly use a device that only benefits them and not the students. Having a device that can track your mind and concentration would probably be very stressful. And if the student is stressful, they would probably fail their studies a lot too. So I really think we should try to stop being so reliable and don't depend too much on technology and AI. If we really want to not negatively impact the students' future, we should try to maybe face-to-face talk to them and try to make everything less stressful by cracking some jokes once in a while. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.
Hello, everyone. Pardon me, you're muted still there, Abby.
My bad.
Muted. You're muted, he said.
Sorry about the ad there. We didn't quite maybe need to play that one for you.
We didn't quite need that part.
How's it going, everybody? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Sebastian, Desert, Jack. Always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. We're family now.
Oh,
How has your week been?
actually, I had a bit of some good news the last couple days. My excuse me. My mailbox has been damaged for quite some time, and I haven't been receiving my mail. And of course, my landlords haven't been inclined to do much to fix the problem for months, except for recently they've didn't quite fix the mailbox properly, but they managed to get my key unstuck from it, and my mail has started flowing again. So I finally got my my tax refund that I should have done a long time ago.
Wait.
Sorry, a little bit of a lengthy
Wait.
explanation.
I don't mean we didn't change the timing on that video, so they suspended the stream. You know how to fix that, don't you, Michael? What am I supposed to do?
So we may have to. I think that happened to me one time before. We were playing a video that we were getting a copyright for.
But you were by yourself, so I don't know what you did.
So I had left the stream. I'd backed in and went back in, I think. But it doesn't. It says I think we're still live on my end.
No, we're not live. No.
Oh. It says end stream still.
No, but we're not live.
That's weird.
Oh, you back?
We're back?
So
we're back.
The
I don't
video
know what happened, but we're back.
Stop the video. Whenever we ended the video and came on, then after whatever sensor, it's like being like in a bank or something. You trip the alarm as soon as you get out of it, or the alarm shuts off or something. That kind of a terrible analogy, but
let me see if we're truly back. I'm pulling it up now. So we have some special guests today. Both were we're back. Great. Both were educators. Well, one is technically she's not an educator anymore. She's in the director level, and that is Tosh Mitt. And the other is Better Half Hour. So I'll let her tell you herself. Um,
Yeah. Let's without
so let's
further
go
ado.
ahead and add her. Without further ado,
Whoop.
oh, Better Half Hour.
I'll let you press the button. I'm not pressing it again. Go ahead.
Okay.
Somebody else had it. There we go.
You guys, I was like, hey, here I am. It was awesome. Too many
Hi.
cooks in the kitchen, right? Like, yeah, it's fun. Hi.
Well, because
How are
whoever we have as admin now, they're like hanging out with us. So now
Right.
we have
No, it's
we
great.
have to just figure it out. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, tonight chat might get a little bit left behind if we're gonna have all hands on deck for as speakers here. But I think it'll be a nice addition to the conversation here. We get some actual educators in on this, and not just a conspiracy theorist or whatever. So
Speak for yourself. No, I'm just joking. I have the practical side. I do. You were talking about maybe my past in education, just really quick. I got my degree originally in environmental sciences with an emphasis in technology and economics. And then I had a midlife crisis because I hated the environmental industry. And instead of buying a $50,000 sports car, I got a degree in teaching in my 40s. I was only, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to run for politics and I'll have environmental and teaching backgrounds. I taught for about 3 years, and then my mom fell ill. And so I've been home with her for 6 years. But in regards to today's topic, I do have a little bit of experience in the classroom from that perspective,
yes.
So,
And
and I
my-
was taught 21st century skills. So I got my degree recently, not in the 70s. You know what I mean?
so that's maybe good, top of mind, fresh, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. In my only experience, I was a substitute teacher for a little while, so
Oh, yeah.
I have
That's
been
a
in
whole
the
different
classroom.
ballgame.
That's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. No, that's, a lot of
But the
classroom management. too.
interesting part about that was there's such a shortage of teachers that I had my own classroom. Like I had them Monday through Friday,
Right. Long term. Yeah.
long term. Yeah. So
Mhm.
um, that's a
What
that's a
grade?
different
What grade
experience.
was it?
9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. It depended
Oh,
on.
awesome.
Mhm.
Right.
I like high school students. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It they need a lot of mothering. I
Yeah.
noticed.
They're
I
too
was
tall for
actually
me. When they swarm you, I can't see over them and I get nervous. So I work with like fourth graders, They're young
oh,
enough to still kind of listen to what you're asking them to do and stuff, but old enough to get your jokes.
that's legit.
So they
We have a friend that she was substitute teaching. She said I like the third graders. Like
oh,
they're
yeah.
they're young enough to still be, playful
Right.
and old and fear you
Mhm.
and old enough
Yeah,
for
sure.
you don't have to, like really manage them.
No, you don't have to tie their shoes and wipe their noses.
Right.
There's a special place in heaven for kindergarten teachers and first grade teachers. I'm like,
My
yeah.
sister-in-law is a pre-K teacher.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, my sister too. I don't remember what year she teaches, but she's
let me introduce you.
she teaches the young ones in the UK.
I
Uh,
thought that. Oh, go ahead, Abby. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I want to ask, do you know if I sent Tashmit a guest link, could she talk in the chat? Do you know?
Probably we could try it and find out. It's probably the best way to
You want to
fuck
try it?
around and find out.
Oh, she says she's
Oh,
cool.
what?
Okay, it says Abby doing Tashmit. She's right here. We're sharing a mic. She
Can you
wants.
hear me?
Yeah, give your background and everything.
Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Oh, okay. So a little bit about my background. I actually got to teach in every level from elementary, middle, high school, and I dabbled a little bit in college stuff, college tutoring. But my favorite age group is middle school. I
Oh,
like
I
middle
thought it was
school.
high school.
I mean, I could adapt to high school because I was fortunate enough to follow my students from middle school to high school.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, that was pretty
I would
cool.
have loved to do that. Like
That was
go
all.
with them.
It wasn't
It's
even planned.
perfect.
It
And
wasn't
Yeah.
planned at all.
and
It
go to
was
their
COVID.
graduation.
What's
Yeah, it
the
was.
name of that to just tell the viewers? Like, there's a philosophy in education where you age with the students. You teach them first grade, you teach them second, you all the way because you get to know them and they develop these relationships and trust and stuff. Anyway,
Yeah,
sorry, Toss Smith. That excited me.
There
That's
is probably
cool.
yeah.
I would love to do that.
Like I said,
Yeah.
it wasn't planned. It was just a
Yeah.
great blessing of an opportunity, and we reconnected again. Even though I moved to another school an hour and a half away, reconnected with them through
Of
April.
course.
I mean, Abby Dew and I connected with them through leadership, and so we got to do a lot of cool things through that. But right now, my role is different. It's not actually an educator. I'm in prevention, right? So I am
Like,
what you would call a prevention specialist,
mm-hmm.
and we cover
Top of the triangle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Mhm.
that's pretty much
Mental
Awesome.
health, suicide
Behavior.
prevention,
yeah, all of that.
drug prevention,
Teen dating.
and
That's a new
leadership.
topic they're going to be
Teen
talking about.
dating.
Bullying.
Teen
sounds like
dating. Ooh.
sounds like a
Teen
kind of
dating, yeah, because teen dating, there's a lot of violence in teen dating. I
Oh
don't know
no.
if you guys know that by now. I mean, yeah, it's a growing
I mean,
thing.
I was a teen dater. Yeah, it's pretty violent.
It's
I saw a dude punch at a high school, punch through the window,
oh
like
yeah,
all his hand was bloody because he and his girlfriend were having an argument.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what?
you
So-
think they're teenagers. They're much more charged up with their emotions and hormones and whatnot.
And they are exposed to watching all this reality TV that's scripted and they believe it's real, so they imitate it.
First
Or
time.
it's at
It's
home.
disgusting.
It's at home,
Yeah.
like generational things, especially in different socioeconomic areas and stuff, where I grew up, like we didn't have good role models for what a healthy relationship looked like. And yeah, when you're looking to media and all that,
Yeah, I kind of
And-
agree. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say that the youngin was saying in her TED talk for the youth that AI kind of stunts your emotional intelligence. I think COVID did that as well for our children because they were so far removed from. Because school is not just supposed to be about learning; it's supposed to be a social experience as well.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, that's-
life
Oh,
skills.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I don't think the viewers saw the video, and it was this little girl talking about AI and how how it's harmful. She took it from the student perspective, how AI affects them.
Mhm.
And when you invited me on the show, I was thinking about how does it affect me as a teacher? I wasn't even thinking of the littles. I was like, well, it's a tool for me, I wasn't even thinking how it affected them. And she did take quite a negative spin on it not being a tool and more of it being like, learning versus a tool. Like it's not supposed to replace humans, but that was kind of like it was pictures of kids in a mask and she was talking about China and how it affected
I got a question. You think it's the way that it was introduced to her? Because here, the way that AI is introduced to our students is through robotics and through technology like that. It's not like I wouldn't know a kid that would have a negative,
Right.
feeling about it as far as any schools that I've been around.
Well, she talked about inclusion, actually. She said that Grammarly, right? That the
Mhm.
kids were using Grammarly, and I would assume that, we're like, dang, spell check, it ruins the kids and stuff. But like my son, I hope he doesn't mind him disclosing, and me too, we have something called dysgraphia. And so it's something from your brain to when like you're writing and stuff. You know
Right.
what it is probably. Anyway, a lot of people don't. It's a form of dyslexia with writing. And if you have these tools, some students need them. They're included. It helps. It's a tool that we can use in the classroom from a student perspective.
There are also, from a student perspective too, there's also tools so you cheat. So when you're supposed to be taking homework home to further what you learn in class and practice it, there's this thing called Symbolab. I came back to Louisiana during COVID because my two nephews and nieces. I'm sorry, I got to get that right. 2 nephews and niece were home alone because their parents were, had to go to work and their grades were dropping, and so they I caught my nephew doing his work or homework, whatever work. He was using something called Symbolab, where you put in the math equation and it just lays it out for you. Now, that's a great tool if you are actually trying to do the work yourself and it's not coming out right and you want to understand why. No, he was just using it to get his homework out the way. Just to do his work. He was just like, I don't give a shit.
You don't have to do the hard part.
You have to do the help.
Right? Yeah.
But look, this is the devil's advocate part of it. Even though he's using that tool, because like I was telling Abby, my students, I taught SPED high school students, right? And they had access to like Better had said, those tools, whereas a traditional student may not have had access to it during test or during classwork. But using that, if you can't explain it, that's how I used to get them. If you can't explain what you're copying and writing down, if you can't explain it back to me,
then you don't know it.
You don't know what you're doing, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so a lot of them, that's how they get extra lost, because they already lost, but then they try to cheat, and then they try to interpret that whatever they're cheating, and then it's a whirlwind of trouble.
It's such a shortcut. They're actually sidestepping the actual education part. They're not even learning anything at all because they don't have to learn it because the AI knows it, and they just need to ask the AI to say it for them.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to show some videos, if you don't mind, just about that before we get into AI, because these children are, and then you could kind of speak on it too. There's 2 videos. One is 5 minutes and one is 2 minutes, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I didn't get my popcorn, Abby. Come on.
So I'm trying to make this big. There we go.
Oh boy.
I can't do it. They have no vocabulary, no background knowledge. I've never seen anything like it. For context, for 8 years, I taught a self-contained program for significant language-based learning disabilities. Like, it was the most restrictive environment. It was the step before being sent to a specialized school. And my 5th graders with significant language-based learning disabilities could write better than non-disabled 7th graders can now. They can't write a sentence. They don't know what state they live in. They don't know what region of the country they're in. They have no background knowledge. Most of them don't know who the president is. They're coming to school with no background knowledge. They have very low skills. And yes, part of my job is to help them find those skills. And as a special education teacher, I'm obviously going to be working with students who require specialized instruction, but I'm not talking about specifically my students. I'm talking about students in the grade, period. And this was the case last year. They can't take notes. They can't even attend to a video. They can't even attend to a 3-minute video clip. I can play it. I can tell them what it's going to be about. I can summarize what the video did, and not a single one can tell me what the video was about.
No, y'all, can we talk about it? Can we please talk about it? Let's take a moment to discuss.
Is that the TikTok era where the attention span is like, boom?
Yeah, where everyone's got ADHD now, and they're not making the connection to the technology. It seems like intentional ignorance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It is, because my son
Let's take a moment to
is in that era right now. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mine too.
I didn't know you were about to speak, so I just paused.
Oh,
Go
no, it's
ahead.
okay. No. Oh, I was just going to address the a short attention span. He notices that, and participation, it definitely is not as high as it could be. I mean, even with adults, like, us as YouTubers, you're like getting average views of like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it's
Our
like,
format is too
you better get it all
long.
in that first 15. Oh, go ahead. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
Our format is too long for people's attention spans. It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Well, so I actually was
So I would take-
substituting at the school Ty Smith was working at. That was my ride to work. And I didn't have, she had special ed students. I didn't, but they seemed very special. They couldn't put sentences together. They couldn't write. They couldn't spell.
Well, it's also like,
And I couldn't believe it.
yeah,
Go
like
ahead, Michael.
my son's been watching, and my daughter, they're watching all these YouTube videos and stuff, and so then they get this really like distorted conception of like history or contemporary events and stuff. The way that they learn it, the source that they learn it from, is completely unacceptable as far as actual learning, like critical thinking and stuff. And it's very difficult to explain to them that what they're learning is not real, but it is real in a sense that it's on YouTube, but it's not true information. So it's like we've got a problem with making schizophrenics almost with all of this disinformation.
If I may,
Interesting.
Michael, I feel that, if you are allowing your children or our children or whatever to watch videos and stuff, and we talked about that on one of our episodes was, ask what are you learning? You're questioning what you're learning and teaching your children how to question what they're learning, and that's really our job as guardians or parents. And then just to go back to one other point, if I may, about short attention span, there's a method, I don't know if it's a real legit thing, but the Pompadour method, like our brains can only handle 15 to 20 minutes of information, then we need to take a 5-minute break,
Recess.
and so it's not necessarily TikTok and YouTube, but you guys are saying, what grade was that, Abby, that you were mentioning?
That I was teaching?
Yeah, that you noticed more.
It was mostly 10th, 11th, and 12th graders that I had. I maybe had a 9th grader here and there, but it was mostly like the upper echelon. Like, you're about to go into the world.
Yeah. I couldn't write at I didn't even finish high school, but yet I got my master's. So it's more of like,
interesting.
where are we putting our focus, And I had a learning disability that I didn't figure out till I was late. I was a late bloomer, I went to college in my mid-20s and
You had
got
dyslexia
my shit together. What?
Do you have dyslexia or?
Yes.
Care to share?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
do, because when
Well,
I
that-
do read alouds, I
Uh-huh.
let the kids know, and my spelling is, I'm in the top 99th percentile for mathematics, but I read at a 6th grade level. So like when you hear all these stats, and I have the tools to get my master's. And so I give the kids hope, So I care to share. I share all the time about it. I'm proud of it.
I believe we got way off the point of education.
Right.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
No, I'm not us. I'm talking about America. Not us.
Not about me, Tosh. It's all about me.
Like, shut up,
No. I'm talking about how I mean, you see things like how they say education nowadays is for conformity, teaching people how not to be independent thinkers, to just conform to a system. When you're talking about what you shared, you're talking about a school that focuses on the individual as a person. Some schools focus on teaching the whole student, and the whole student being a part of a family, and the family being part of a community. They have private schools like that out here.
That goes back to what you were saying about every child needs an IEP.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
and speaking of IEP, everybody, if you don't know what that means an individualized education plan. And absolutely every student needs it, because even the students with it, you end up servicing the traditional students without it.
You're trying. I just
I have
can't
a
even
video
keep
to
my
talk-
mouth shut. Wait for a second. with the IEP, when I was learning about that, it's for kids who like, okay, normal kids are at the bottom of the triangle. Normal, sorry to say that, but neurotypical are on the bottom, and then the top is the specialized plans. That's where Tosh, is it Tosh or Tosh?
Tosh.
Tosh. Okay.
No, it
So-
says Smith. That's
Oh,
what it
Tosh
said.
Smith. Okay. So you deal with the top of the triangle, and you have to develop these individual education plans, right? Well, when I was learning about these, I'm like, this is just good teaching.
Mhm.
It's what but the bandwidth to be able to do that as a teacher is, I couldn't do it.
You know why
I couldn't
teachers
do it.
get paid a lot more in other places? Because they take the time to thoroughly train them. Honestly, if we did train teachers and police officers, by the way, if we thoroughly train people for the careers that they're supposed to have, which affects everyone in the community,
And pay them.
and pay I'm serious. If they would get the training, then the salary should do that because the outcome will be different.
Well, part of the
From
thing
my
about
perspective,
training,
they
Okay.
should make teachers work a summer in like a youth program. It could be Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. But if you want to teach, you should have to spend time in that environment. Because if you cannot make it through that kind of program, you're not gonna make it in the classroom.
Well, that's what cultural sensitivity is for. That's what they you take a little class, and you have to put yourself in a situation where you're the minority and journal about it.
Well, back in the day, they didn't have cell phones as distractions in these trainings. You
Yeah.
should see these trainings now.
Right.
Michael wanted to
I
say
agree.
something.
well,
I'm sorry, Michael.
you were just saying that as far as people, the solution would be to train people more thoroughly, but then that's kind of part of the paradox problem in you're saying about how you want these individualized plans for people, and then like the more individualistic individualism of capitalism kind of thing, trying to have everybody, you can be as free and neoliberal as you want to. Like you run into the problem of, well, you can't be like really unique and individual and be trained to the same standard as everybody else. This is where people kind of feel they lose their individuality. So it's
So when you're talking about learning, everyone
Yeah,
learns
that's
and
different.
processes a different way. So
Right.
I don't mean like training or teaching for a specific role or job or assignment. If you're talking about
Learning
as
style.
a learner,
Yeah, like audio,
there are different types of learning.
Right.
You know what I mean? And we process information differently.
tactile, auditory.
Mhm.
It's four, right?
Kinesthetic. It's, yeah.
They have several kinds.
I
I mean,
forget.
they have
Visual.
I
a
think added
spectrum.
more than four.
Yeah, but that's the
Visual
main
Well-
three: visual, auditory,
and
and
tactile.
tactile. Those are the main.
The main three, but they've added more.
They've added
I
several.
wanted you guys to answer.
We
this
don't want to
question
watch
for
the
Jacqueline.
video.
I
No,
did.
just-
We're about to.
I did
And-
answer it in the chat.
Oh, you answered in the chat.
was gonna-
Oh, well, let me pull
About
that
the
down.
G.
Yeah,
Yeah,
talk to
they
Michael
call it
too.
the high set here now. Hi Cheryl.
Aw, other mother.
Look, I adopted Cheryl as my mom.
Aw, me too.
And that's a natural thing. For
Adopted
people to do.
moms.
No, I guess you guys didn't talk to each other about it. You just did it.
I just did it.
That is awesome.
I was like, she's mine now.
Aw. She's very cool. She's very cool. Very unconditional.
That's great.
Okay, so let's get back to the video.
Wait, is this one going to show? Let's see.
Can we talk about it? Can we please talk about it? Let's take a moment to discuss. Let's take a moment to debrief. Let's take a moment to unpack. So I'm not really understanding why they're not telling y'all. Like, we all know that the world is behind, globally, because of the pandemic and stuff. But I don't understand why they're not stressing to y'all how bad it is. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but these kids are, I'm going to just say this. I teach 7th grade. They are still performing on the 4th grade level.
That's your school. So.
I don't care how you flip it, turn it, swing it, swindle it. They still performing on the 4th grade level. Ain't nobody talking about how they just keep moving, passing them on. They just keep passing them on, 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 passing them on. I can put as many zeros in this grade book as I want to. They're gonna move that child to the 8th grade next year.
Not burned out until the 2nd semester. Okay, usually that's when I approach burnout because we get Thanksgiving, we get Christmas, we get all these things. I am burned out. It's September. It has not been a full month yet. Has it been No, it's close to a full month, but it has not been a full month yet. So let me tell you, you know what I'm talking about if you're teaching right now. I saw another teacher from another school across the street from our school walking to her car this afternoon, and she looked like she could barely walk to her car. And I was like, we're almost to Thanksgiving, like, you know, trying to be friendly. And she was like, just unloaded on me. She's like, I've been teaching for 34 years. I have never had it this hard. What is wrong with these kids? Not in a bad way, but like, I don't know how to reach them. I feel like I'm one lesson that used to take a day is taking a week now. Ooh, the attention span, blah, blah.
And I teach at one of the more affluent schools. When I tell you that these babies cannot read, they cannot write, and they cannot comprehend, I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious. It doesn't exist. I have kids constantly asking me, how do I spell window? How do I spell important? How do I spell though? And they be serious. They're dead serious. I could ask them, who is the main character of your story? The story of 4-paragraph story we just read. Can't tell you. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. It took us 4 weeks to get through how to answer a question in a complete sentence.
And basically, whenever I say kids can't read, they are reading at either a kindergarten or a first grade level. When it comes to spelling, I'm seeing a lot of children who can't even spell the word said, for, mother, father in the 4th or 5th grade, which makes me wonder what's going to happen when they're in middle school and high school.
The fact that I have 4th graders who cannot read independently at all is just like, one, what am I supposed to do? Because teachers are not miracle workers. If I'm required to teach 4th grade standards, the 4th grade standards do not include me teaching phonics. Now, I understand RTI, MTSS process, and different safety nets like that, but doing that for 30 minutes a day is not going to solve the problem. So what is really the expectation? Are we just going to continue to fail the students and not teach them how to read? Like, what is
So the first
I
thought that
learned
comes
this
to
in
mind
Texas.
Nah,
with,
no, you
with
didn't.
that video,
But I'll play along, I guess.
sorry about that.
Wow, they
First thing that comes to mind that makes me think of the food, right? Like, why are they struggling so hard to retain information? Maybe the food that they're eating makes it difficult for them to actually have good brain cells, you know?
That too, but you know what else I think? I think that parents are so preoccupied in working 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 damn jobs that they don't really spend quality time. I'm being real. They don't spend quality time with their children. They don't themselves know homework, how to read, how to goddamn write. But I tell you one thing, they could stack a rack of clothes up in a heartbeat. They could change a tire in a heartbeat. We have workers. We don't have thinkers. We don't have people that can spend time with their families. They're not paid to spend time and care about their own families. Get your ass out there and work 5 jobs. That's what's happening.
100%.
So it's end up the kids feel isolated. The kids fall behind, and then we end up pointing fingers at each other.
And there's no love for reading anymore. Like, remember when before you went to bed, you got a bedtime story read to you? Like, they don't do that anymore. They're just like, time to go to bed.
I don't know. I encourage that in my classroom. I would always ask the kids, you know, do you read with your family? And just always pushing that. I mean, I read to my babies in the womb, you know, like I think it comes from, right? She was saying the guardians, but we can't put that on their hands because the whole idea, and this goes back to Michael's point, when you know, yes, IEP has to do with like how people learn, but what Michael was talking about was the learning environment. So you were maybe comparing it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, that you were saying individualized in a capitalist society can't exist. And one of the skills that we're trying to teach them, 21st century skills, is not only how we interact with technology like AI or whatever, but also how we're interacting as a group. So like all the classrooms now, they're working more in like a group environment, or instead of like everybody line up and march and play, you know, and not letting them have individualized thinking and stuff like that. I think it comes down to the quality of the teaching too. So,
yeah. Is the idea that the having a collective mindset and everyone being all on the same page is like this is always groupthink and should always be avoided, because I mean there is some truth to be said that when we have independent thinking, we have the ability to discern contradictions in other people's point of view because we're not adhering to their same kind of dogmatic kind of way of thinking. But then when we have too much of this divergence of opinions, we don't have the ability to come together when it matters, when to actually determine who is right and who is wrong, because we're both allowed to hold independent camps, and nobody has to actually prove something.
But also with passing the teachers on, if I may, or not teachers, the teachers passing the students on when they're not reading or writing, you know, there's a whole process behind this. It's not like we're just shuffling. Well, I hope not, but yeah, we do shuffle some of them along because it's best for their social health. Like, they're going to do worse if you hold them behind, in my opinion. This is very controversial, you know, in some schools. But if they're that far behind, then yeah, maybe in all subjects, not just one. You know, if they're like not a great reader or writer or math, you know, you don't hold them back the whole grade just for one subject.
So
you
this
know?
is a great segue into my next. It's only 2 minutes because we got to get back to AI.
Teasing you, yeah.
But this is a great
It's
segue
good, yeah.
Because like if they are struggling in one particular subject, then you're supposed to get them help.
Yes.
Like you don't just pass them along. You know, get some extra help.
Document it, right? And
yeah.
Mhm.
But, okay, so let me here. Here.
While she's doing that, Old Man Barker and Jack, that movie Compliance is based on a true story about a crime that was committed against fast food restaurants using the police as the weapon. It's a very interesting story.
I have no idea what they're.
It's called
talking
Compliance. It was, and like I said, it's based on true actual crimes across our country.
This is like a continuation of what Michael was saying about the food. How
About
it affects our brain.
No, just about how we don't have thinkers. Like people could know something is wrong, and they won't stop and think and say, "Hey, maybe I shouldn't do this," or maybe I should think about the law and like think about people's lives and stuff like that. They don't think; they just do as they're told.
There's something wrong with their frontal cortexes.
Okay,
Yes,
can I just quickly tell you what that movie was about? This man was calling different McDonald's
and
pretending to be a police officer and telling the manager that
don't give it all away. Don't give it all away because they can go watch it and it'll be interesting.
I'm not gonna give it all away.
Okay.
I mean, even if I just tell you what it is, it's so worth watching.
I mean, really, because it's true. It's not like.
Does it have to do with the ice cream machines?
No.
And planned obsolescence.
No,
I was going to do a show on that. That's why I was like, oh, planned obsolescence. I know.
He would tell the manager that the person was a thief. Some young girl some young employee, always a girl, have them take the girl into the manager's office, lock the door, have the girl strip.
They conduct a strip search to find the supposed stolen merchandise, and this particular manager went.
Now you trying to tell it all.
Oh my God!
No,
guys.
that was enough. That was enough. One manager went so far,
oh my God, you won't even imagine.
I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut on that one.
Oh my God!
Y'all gotta watch it. Compliance.
It was such a great movie.
All right, so let's get back to what we were talking about.
As we teach little girls to smile.
Yeah, and not think.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
perfect.
but it was grown adult women and men doing this to these young teenagers.
Young it was
okay,
young adults.
I know.
Plenty that could be said about that. But,
okay.
That's
so
not.
Let's get back to what you were saying, Better Half. I want to get back to what you were saying, Better Half. This is a video kind of about that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, about just passing children.
Okay.
I'm reading right now and I'm appalled. And I know that I'm not the only one. I don't parents are hearing this, because you know who might be able to change this? Parents. Like so many other school districts, I'm not allowed to give anything below a 50%. You could just not come to school, nothing. I got to give you a 50%. Here's an example of the result of that. I had a student who was just in here to inquire about his grade. 2 days before grades are due, that's besides the point. He has been absent 4 days, extremely late every single day. Not the worst case scenario, I've had worse. The bigger deal here is that in the 12 assignments that we went through, he's missing 7 of them. I had to give him 50s for doing absolutely nothing. In those assignments that he missed, they were projects, quizzes, tests, like a major piece of writing. Just didn't do it while everybody else is here working, getting their work done. I still have to give him a 50. He went ahead and chose the few assignments that he did want to complete. And because he completed those bare minimum participatory assignments, he has a 66. I am almost nearly certain that he is leaving my class having learned next to nothing, because these assignments that he actually did, they were nothing in the grand scheme of what students are supposed to learn and what they were supposed to submit. This is very misleading to parents. And, you know, he's just one student, but when you think about them as a whole, this is who we are sending off to college. This is who we are sending into the workforce.
Ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am.
See, we're going to get it right in here today. I don't know who's teaching you, but I'm going to give you a lesson.
I'm teaching them.
Well, you're not. Because
First, did we know what grade she was teaching by chance? Because, you know, you're muted, Abby.
Yeah, just sorry.
Do we know what grade she was teaching?
No, she didn't say.
She didn't
Yeah,
say.
because how do they have control over showing up late or certain things?
Exactly.
And does it really
They
matter?
still
That
get
kid was
penalized.
playing the game. He's smart.
Yeah. Well, but that
He's smart.
shows what that video made me think of is that has about the broader culture thing again. Like in a culture where the truth just does not matter because
That's
you
what I'm saying.
gaslight
You're right.
everybody, then it kind of trickles down into the education system where you don't even care if the kids are learning anything truthful or being truthful about what they're learning, because you've already decided in general the philosophy of your culture is that the truth does not matter fundamentally.
So
Now,
so
Helio,
one
I
thing
couldn't
about
agree with you more, man. That
one
was
thing
real.
about okay during the day when you get there late, you're tardy. I can understand that because you have no control over that. But when these kids skip class, come 10, 15 minutes late,
And parents
hang
also
out.
drop them off late.
I
I'm
just
sorry.
said that. Let me finish my statement. They hang out in the bathroom, smoke, do the nasty. Like all
Ew,
this
in the
was happening
bathroom?
at yes, all this was happening.
No,
at
at McDonald's in the
Lotus.
bathroom. I'm just sorry. I was about to say that to talk
No,
about
that's
it.
the manager's
I've been hanging
room.
out with cookies too much. Go ahead.
Nowadays, you want to go do anything in McDonald's or bathroom, they got to get the key from the people. They don't let you know.
Because of all the nastiness that happens there.
My son won't use his high school bathroom. I wouldn't either. I
As
don't
he
know.
shouldn't.
I hung out in the bathroom, actually. I was probably one of them.
They literally had to lock the bathroom doors at my previous school because of so much mischief that was happening. But guess what? It ended up causing tardy problems. It ended up causing
course.
emergencies. Like it always was a domino effect. And when you guys are talking about grades, this is what I wanted to ask you, Better Half. You ever been in a position where a kid deserved to get an F, but the school strong-armed you into passing?
I did not experience that, but what I did, my mentor, she was big on passing them, regardless. You know, yeah, and said it was more damaging. That's why I was like, it's kind of like two schools of thought. I mean, I've never had. I worked in the Title I schools in my area. There's a lot of crystal meth use and, you know, behavior problems with no behavior teams and
Wow.
a lot of migrant workers, you know, the first generation that, you know, like the dual immersion schools, that was great. I had a great time there, but they didn't, I mean, I don't want to speak ill will of my administration, but they could have cared less, you know.
Oh man, it's like
But the
here.
teachers were good, and some of the parents cared, but when, you know, they had to step over their mom on the floor to get to school. But my mentor was awesome. She would leave her doors open. We were feeding them all the time. She, you know, breakfast, lunch, dinner, just amazing woman.
It's only so much a teacher can do
Right.
when you're already buying supplies, like out of the little salary that they
Yeah.
give you,
God.
you're already supplementing
Then you can't write
your
it off.
classroom.
Everything's
The
already
government won't let you write it off. You get a $300 write-off. That's it.
Yeah.
But that's what I think is the real thing, where they may have come up with this idea that like as an excuse that it's more harmful to hold them back. But I think it's more about the cost. It's too costly to have to spend more extra time on the slow ones, and
Getting
in a
reading
eugenic kind of
aids.
way.
Right. Getting
You want to
aids.
cut them loose instead of have to actually like help the inferior ones. I don't know.
Man, just like I know a lot of people who did not receive the traditional high school diploma, but they received like a GED,
Right.
and they're making more money than
Right.
people who spend 6, 7, 8 years in college, you know.
Yeah.
And see, that's why I like working with teens and teaching them about careers that fit you instead
Yes.
of, you know, just learning something just to learn.
Well,
I'm a big advocate of education is supposed to mean something to you. You know,
what?
you're
I
learning,
lost you. Education.
it's supposed to mean something to you as an individual. Like it's supposed to help you, equip you, or help you grow, or you know, to open your eyes to something different that you didn't see. You're not just supposed to
Well,
follow the
they
rest.
are focusing on that. They have tests that they do now. Individual, like, you know, they do personality tests, not the Briggs, but do you know what I'm talking about? And then they
Oh yeah,
tailor
I know what
it.
you're talking about.
And
Like
a lot of
over
oh,
here,
go
they
ahead.
have magnet schools. You talking about those
Magnet.
specialized?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
too. That's another way to do it. But also, you know, they interview them, look at their grades, and then send them to certain schools. What a magnet school is like,
Right.
yeah, I was sent to magnet schools in Vegas for mathematics and stuff like that.
Awesome.
But yeah, it was a great experience.
I
And it
like
was
it.
more culturally diverse too, because I wasn't stuck in where like, you know, I grew up in poverty right next to the projects. And so socioeconomic, you know, I was going to school with one of the daughters of one of the most affluent casino owners, you know, because they believed in the public school systems and was really good at mathematics. So like it just offered more opportunities and it helped. Yeah, I like magnet schools, that concept. But when we were going back to what were you just talking about, Tosman? About I lost it.
I have a
lost it
question.
too.
But not
Wait,
here
Michael
now.
wanted to say.
I did have something I could say though, if we're having a moment, a little brain fart here though. I was gonna say,
All of us.
as far as the issue
Been a
of
long day.
you wanna have a more personalized education for the kids and make it feel like there's something in it for them. The problem with that would be when it's mandatory for the kids to go to school. They don't have the choice to go. And I think that people underappreciate this, how much of a problem it is that you take away the child's autonomy and tell them that they must learn by force, and then you try and act like it's in their best interest and that they should want to make this about them when we need soldiers, we need workers, and that's basically why we're being educated. So,
Well, here's a good thing, Michael, is that there are counties and people are waking up to not allowing the military to approach our children anymore in high schools. So they can't, yeah. It's basically,
Not here.
yeah, you can opt out. The military cannot, because, you know, there's parents that are involved, solicit our kids. And then we also have, you know, our principal for my son's high school developed different tracks. So you have like automotive or computer or, you know, like the Harry Potter Wizard of School, but with different academic or trade paths. And in the state of Colorado, all kids go to school free. And so they could choose those paths, and it's called Early Scholar, and they could go to college at the same time as they're going to high school. It's a beautiful opportunity. And we don't have money. We're the 27th, we're the 12th largest district. And, but yet our students are paid the 27th, per student ratio of income. So, and we've got a lot of drug use, and we have the highest suicide rates of children under 13 in the nation. But to have that type of program here is very hopeful, is what I'm saying. So, sorry,
That's
I got
cool.
excited for Michael, just for him to know that we are allowing our children to have different opportunities. It's not
No,
by
it is
force.
certain, like the work the teachers and the people within the education system are doing like amazing things with far less than they actually need to actually do. Like it is admirable. It's just frustrating to watch the situation be imposed on them, where they like things don't have to be this way. Like you shouldn't have to be like a superhero to these kids, all for them to become like a wage slave ultimately. Like it's just so misguided.
You're
And
very
people-
Pink Floydy, Michael.
Yeah, no more, right?
I mean, I get it. I used to, when I first started teaching, I would go home, light up a cigarette, cry to that song. What am I doing to these kids? I mean, because all day I'm like, sit down, be quiet, grab your pencil, get in line, go to here, go to there, march, 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 hurry, lesson, lesson, lesson. It's exhausting. Yeah. There's no teaching opportunities. Yeah, right.
I feel
Sorry.
people don't have faith in
I get
the
it.
idea
I get that
people-
part too.
That if you don't try and mass educate people, that they wouldn't be able to become just as educated on their own if you give them the opportunity to try. I
They're
feel
not
like
motivated.
people will if like it's one of those things you can't test without mass experimentation by taking away the mass education system. But I feel quite confident that if we didn't forcibly teach people, that they would willingly learn things on their own, and they would be more educated than if we tried to tell them what we think is good for them to learn. When we've already made mistakes, we were already taught by the wrong people, old-fashioned things that have corrupted our way of thinking. And we go with our corrupted way of thinking we know how to tell them what's right and what's wrong to learn first and last.
Mm.
So
Yeah, we talked about that on our history show, like how textbooks are made, But
and what I'm saying about the education system, originally when we need soldiers and stuff, I think the education kind of comes from like the Prussian system, like the
Industrial Revolution, actually.
yeah,
the
around that
modern.
time, really
They've changed that though, Michael.
Yeah,
They've
but the
changed
reason-
that model.
The main reason where they wanted to put the kids in the mass education and for like physical education and stuff is because they did not have like fit for fighting kind of a population. They didn't have a intelligent enough population to be a fighting force, and they solved that problem by creating an education system. And so they've evolved beyond that, but there is that kind of a core element to it, I think.
Well, it's more, I didn't understand the military side. I'm not sure what you're referring, but we did learn that, it was created during the Industrial Revolution in the 19th century model, in the 20th century model. But the 21st century is all about like collaborative learning and individual plans and technology. And, like they really we didn't really start studying education and doing like meta-analysis till the 80s in order to look at that model that you're talking about, with the military style teaching and stuff like that. So
there's so much to learn about the history of it. Like I don't even know nearly enough that I need to even have this kind of a conversation. But
but that's why we're talking. So you could trust me, right? I'm telling you the truth.
I was about to say, imagine you heard what you just said. Now imagine someone like me and Abby do. Black America history has been completely erased, rewritten, and all kinds of stuff. So trying to find your origin or who we are,
navigate through that.
Like I saw something today, like saying Italians can identify. Everybody can identify with where they are from, except us. You feel what I'm saying? So that's
our school system teaches us that We just
Our history
came
started when
from
we
slavery.
came here, from slaves. Yeah.
That's
Well,
it.
You could talk about the history of religion too, where
Mhm.
I was quite frustrated to uncover the origins of the Abrahamic religions and stuff, and have to recognize that they have kept that history hidden somewhat intentionally, so as to benefit certain cultures, but that's kind of stepping on your point, right? Like, sorry, but it's like
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. You're fine.
they spend all this time teaching you this stuff, and then you realize it was like misinformation. Like the history and politics and economics particularly is what I'm thinking of.
I know what you're talking about now, Michael, in reference to like building a military, is we have to build patriots, right? That's why we did the like Pledge of Allegiance. Like I'm a 70s, 80s kid. I freaking love our country. I do. I still do. I still want us to I have hope in it. I'm, you know I sound pessimistic on a lot of the Tin Rabbit stuff, but I really have a lot of hope. And I feel like we have the capacity. I'm very grateful for being an American, that we could sit here and talk about this stuff. And, like I'm a grateful person, and I feel like with the military being that and prayer helped us in the classroom. But now we call it meditation because the kids need to, be quiet for a minute and focus our thoughts. We all could benefit from that. And we do need some form of playing for the team, some societal. I mean, I'm not an anarchist. So, well, and even anarchy is order. Like if you all think the same, but we have to have some sort of system in place or it's chaotic, I mean, how else do we organize it? And I was also thinking, Michael, one more thing, and I'll be quiet for a bit. When you were talking about the way things are and we're rushing them through and we're passing them and all this stuff, and we either need to abolish it or dump way more money in it, because then we can have, the aids and the individual plans of, learning styles, as well as I'm interested in this and, and
they have
empowering.
schools-
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
There are schools that use community learning. Like kids are broken up into teams. They have projects. That's how the semester is broken up. I had to do some studies on different styles of learning environments, and that was my question. While Abby was setting up for her next video, I wanted to ask you all this question. And you don't have to give me an answer right now. Just think about it. If you could pick a learning environment, like if you had a school of your choice, and you could reflect back on to your childhood experiences in school individually. But if you could create a school that would have been suitable for what you wanted as a kid, as a child, or what you want for your child, what kind of school environment would that be? What would it look like?
Oh,
If y'all
what a
could
good
just-
question.
If y'all could just think about that, think about, Mike, you had to pick a school for your kids, right? What kind of teachers do
But
you
let's
want?
not
What
answer
kind
it
of
right
learning
now.
environment do you, you know what I mean? Like how you want that school to look.
Yeah.
And then I want y'all to think about this. Why wouldn't every parent or everyone want to learn in an environment that fits them? You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm talking about finding your way to learning, and that's something that's going to help you grow. Because you're right, Michael, we don't need a physical school to learn. As a matter of fact, we've been learning, and if our history tells us the history that we
need a
learn
physical
about,
school so the parents can go to work.
yeah, a physical daycare.
That's
in
a
city.
feminist issue, Abby.
Mm.
I don't
I'm
know.
just saying, you need a feminist. I mean, you need a physical school so the
It's a
worker
part of
bees
the
could go work.
whole. It's a part of the whole compliance and.
Or it could be like China and bring your child to work day, right? I
We
mean,
have a bring your child to work day, but it's only
Well-
one day out of the
year.
the school year.
when half your population is under 15, you do have to bring them with you and teach them the practical skills. But really, let's ask, what is the purpose of the education system? What is the purpose of it? Is it to teach us to read, write, and get caught up so our society can
Depends on where you
be
live.
higher as a whole? Or, I mean,
It depends on where you live.
And it depends on how much money you have.
no,
Because it's
what
a-
is the goal? Like,
The
I'm
goal
sorry.
in some communities is to create workers.
Yeah.
And the goal in some communities is
Is to create establishment.
pipeline to prison. The goal in some communities is to create doctors. Like literally, there are schools here
Wow.
in a like there's a big hospital, this
Yeah.
Our Lady or whatever. Now they created a
I get
charter
it now.
school right near the hospital. So who's the population in that school? Who you feel me? What
Right.
kind of children are in that school? In that school, you have kids with working parents, professionally working parents. So you have people to take time. You have tutors that help them with homework. So they're going to be at a different level as a school that I'm over here teaching.
Because education is tied to socioeconomic status and our
Exactly.
property taxes.
Exactly.
Abolish that shit. Start
And
there.
that is fair.
Quit tying it to fucking property taxes.
That is not even
Excuse me. It's the
fair.
stupidest
Better
thing
have.
I've
We have
ever.
Exxon that has plants here. Chevron has plants here. If they
Oh my
paid
God.
property taxes, Louisiana schools would and our schools in this area would be a whole lot better if it was fair and true.
No, it wouldn't, because
It's not right.
It's still based on
Well,
property
look where they
taxes.
are. They're
Let me
not
ask
even-
you guys. Can I ask you guys
We're
this?
getting off topic.
Okay, sorry.
In your school, when you're looking at your standards compared to like the national standards, when you're looking at your district standards, your state standards, I mean, are you looking at those, Tosmit, when you're looking at IEPs and stuff? Or are you looking at the standards that your district has created locally?
Yes.
Okay. And you feel like they're making those little bee workers, like it's not enriched enough for you? Or, I mean,
No, it isn't. Like I said, it just depends on the quality of teachers, because some schools have uncertified teachers that are teaching
oh,
them.
that's right.
You know, it depends. If you have a school with highly educated, highly qualified teachers, you're going to get a different product in students. You're going to get a different type of student. If you have kids being taught by people who are uncertified, unmotivated, don't care,
With horrible standards.
yes, no standards. Because if you don't have standards as an
Or
educator,
a teacher that
how
needs to
are you
retire.
going to teach it to a student?
Right.
Right.
No,
Or
I
you're
mean
not-
standards. I mean standards
I
like
know what standards
I'm explaining
Louisiana
to the
state
people.
standards. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
You hear what I said?
No, it's okay. The viewers, like,
or some of the
teachers
that need
have-
to retire.
Oh yeah.
what, Abby? I'm sorry.
She was just saying some of the teachers that need to retire.
Oh, yeah.
They're just
Well, they're
just
not-
they're burnt out, and it's not
And
in them anymore.
re-educated. Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Technology is pissing them
and
off.
technology is getting on their nerves. All that.
That's why the kids, let the kids do it.
They try and
No.
introduce that transformative technology, but they got all these older teachers that are just not really going to be able to make the transition. I'm feeling that at work too, in the restaurant, where they've switched from paper chits to the computer screen, and it's a little tricky for me to keep up. So that's the interesting thing. To bring it back to our topic with the AI.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You got your video.
And then I'll be next. Go ahead.
So it's like, what's the point in introducing all of this AI to improve it, like to transform society and everything, if you don't actually want to change what society actually, like, you don't want it to progress in any way. People want to keep it locked into this capitalist box and stuff. The idea about this, like, we don't need a physical space for teaching anymore. We've created enough progress with our technology to be able to actually change the way that we have organized our society, but we have resisted the actual change of organization of society. We want to maintain the old format, but bring in these addictive technologies for what? We don't really know what we're trying to do there. It's like,
So I wanted to make 2 points, and I do have a video to play to get back to our AI conversation, but 2 points about some things that were being said. Better Half was talking about forced patriotism. Like, that's what is taught in the classrooms. But in reality, questioning your country is like the most patriotic thing you can do. Because you
Yeah.
want your country to be better.
Right.
But for some reason, questioning your country in the United States of America is like so taboo. Like, if you don't like it, then go somewhere else.
No, if you don't like it,
wait,
then
what?
change it. Get
I
your ass,
know.
get off. your chair and go lobby or sue somebody or do
But
a
that's the way people talk
podcast
to
or,
you.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't like
Yeah.
it, then leave.
This is one of those
Okay, where
things.
am I gonna go? I was born here. This is my country. What are you talking about?
Patriotism's always been a hard thing for me. I've never really been much of a patriotic thing. I've never been much of a nationalistic person. I think this has to do with kind of what nation you're born into. Being Canada being like a less nation, it makes it more difficult to be proud to be Canadian, I would say. And also having like a Finnish background, that's much more of like a obscure kind of nation, as opposed to being in the most powerful nation in the world. That's much easier for you to be very proud and patriotic, right? So, but then also the idea of social constructs, where I've come to this idea that nationalism is a social construct. So it's not really real in a sense.
If I may, I'm a first generation Sicilian. My father was born in Sicily. And the things that he used to tell me about, and eating at a trash can, whatever, like the American dream kind of thing. I mean, not like he did it, but I have appreciation, I think, because of that, maybe. And I was almost embarrassed of my culture when I was younger, going to school, because I was supposed to be like everybody else, instead of eating weird things and talking in a different language. I don't know. I like America.
Well, I've always just kind of been like anti-patriotic, right? When you get to be more of like an internationalist, you kind of look down on nationalists in a sense, and that's like with these ACP party, like these pat socks, we call them, the patriotic socialists. They kind of get lumped in with Nazis very easily, as people, of course, because that's what National Socialist, patriotic socialist is very easy to consider those to be the same thing. But I can I'm coming to understand their perspective as to like what you're saying, as far as if you like to be critical of your country is to be the most patriotic of all. So this is where they're trying to come from. But then people who are more like an internationalist, who look down on nationalists, are looking at them with that mentality, and they're saying your patriotism for the empire is obscene.
Right, the imperialistic.
James,
right.
James
Yeah, I'm not
Baldwin-
proud of that part. Ugh.
Yeah,
but that's
James
very
Baldwin
nuanced.
said it best. I think he gave a speech about that.
Who? I'm sorry.
James Baldwin.
Right.
He
I'm not
gave
sure
a
if that's
speech
the one I've
about
heard.
about like he's a patriot. It's a black man. He left America and settled in not Toulouse. Yeah, Toulouse, the south of France. No, not Toulouse. That's where my friend lives. more south of France than that. To get away from America because it was just for his mental health. He just had to bounce for a little while. But he's a very famous poet. But anyway, my other point, and then I'll play this video, was when I was substitute teaching, the classes were 90 minutes. And I'm like, that is a long time to just do work. And then you got 3 to 5 minutes to get to your next class. I was like, look, we're going to do a solid 60. Focus, get your work done. And then the last 30, y'all could do what you want. Socialize.
That's
you're
what
supposed to be
Other
doing.
Mother
This is
used to do,
school.
Abby. Abby, that's how
Yeah.
Other Mother did her substitute. She was a teacher too. She had her license. But when she started subbing, I subbed for a little while when I first started helping mom. And she's all, just tell them to get their work done and then they can sit next to their friends and do whatever. Like you bribe them with social freedom. Like, it's like, oh, what kind of person am I? But it works.
But I also believed in it
To get their
because
work done.
I'm like, the whole point of going to school is to be in social environments and learn skills, social skills. You can't do that if I'm teaching you the whole 90 minutes and then sending you off to the next 90-minute class and the next one and the next one. And then you go home. Like, what is that?
Well, that's because, I mean, if I may, your background isn't in teaching, right? So you weren't formally taught how to take a 90-minute structure and break it up into 20-minute increments and mix up the, information. It's not like you're talking the whole time. It could also be style. Like they have this whole style where the kids go home and instead of doing homework, they watch a video of their teacher lecturing, and then they go into the classroom for 60 to 90 minutes and they do the work and get the help that they need one-on-one, as opposed to listening to someone talk for 90 minutes. I don't think that's what they, it's varied instruction.
Well, I
Or
had an
maybe,
article.
maybe I was low key bribing them too. Maybe.
Yeah, no, you would. I would. I'm not beyond that. I am not beyond bribing. Sorry,
Go ahead,
Michael.
Michael.
I didn't.
Okay. I was just going to say briefly, one of the articles, I don't know if we need to get around to it or not. I don't know how much longer we're going to go, but
AI.
I had a
Sorry.
video about exploring the promise and perils of AI in education.
but I was
I'm
just,
pro AI, by the way.
We could do your article and then I could show that video.
I had a couple articles, but I was just saying, like the one that you guys were just saying, made me think of the one that was from the World Economic Forum and how they're talking about here's why AI makes traditional education models obsolete. And then now I'm trying to remember exactly what you said that made me think of this here. But basically, right, the 90-minute teaching, the lecture thing, right? So that kind of style, that's the older conventional, traditional method of teaching. And it's like this modern technology and more modern teaching methods our research is proving that there are superior methods of teaching and learning and retaining information. And so that's kind of what actually a lot of these Marxists are running into the problem of when they're trying to make their content for people. They're trying to refer to people to go read all this old theory, these 1,000-page documents, and that's not actually the most effective method of learning. It's just kind of like the 18th century method of learning. And there's still very valuable information to be learned from that method. We don't want to like lose the ability to learn in that style, but we also want to incorporate modern methods of learning that are more like superior to that, so that we can
compete in the global market, Michael. If we don't create a society that is tech suave and up on mathematics and sciences and engineering and all that, we gotta keep up. It's the fourth industrial revolution, right? It's technology. We got to keep up. Yeah.
So this is what I see or have seen in the different school environments that I work. You have a campus that has a mixture of different types of teachers. You have a good, strong population of older veteran teachers who are stuck in their old school ways, and then you have new teachers who are tech savvy, who know how to engage students on different creative, innovative ways of those web tools and different things. But then you have a battle with those teachers against each other. Instead of working with each other in complementary environments, you usually have them taking a stand of, I'm not going to use this. And even if they decide not to use it because of their fear, then their students are penalized, right? Their students are not being exposed to it. And a lot of times, the fear of the adult, the fear of the teacher, is a hazard of blockage to the students actually getting the opportunity to be exposed. You feel?
Well, that's part of why, to maintain your teaching license, you need to be educated on the most current sciences of pedagogia. You can't just get your license and then you're done. It's continual education, right?
That's the frustrating thing about education. It never ends.
That's the beautiful thing about it. If I may, we've been talking about technology a little bit, but as a tool for me, I loved AI because you can analyze so much information. Part of being a teacher is being able to look at the data and reflect on yourself. Like good teaching is reflecting on yourself and saying, what am I doing wrong? What are they not getting? And AI allowed for me to put in these test results and spit it out quickly. Like with most standardized tests, 6 years ago, we had to wait a whole year to get the results, and they're already long gone by then.
Yeah.
Why are you testing our children and not letting me analyze those results and then fix those mistakes? It's scientifically proven that If you show people their mistakes, as soon as they make them, they learn more than if they did it right. So, you know.
But this makes me. I have another article that's called the allure of AI companions is hard to resist, and this is I'm finding this true myself personally. I probably speak to the AI as soon as I have a question that I find particularly interesting. I kind of have a hard time resisting. Actually, like I have to ask the AI after a while to see what it says. And this is where.
What does it say? What is it?
What is it? What can it teach me? But then it's misleading sometimes. Like you don't know what it doesn't know, kind of like what it's wrong about. And then, so there is that whole slippery slope of, it's like a car, like if you have to walk everywhere, it's exhausting, but it's much better for your health, right? As soon as you get that car, you can go 100 times faster to get to where you're going. That addiction to that extra power that you just acquired is extremely potent and difficult to resist. So that's,
So while you're pulling up your article, I think it was from the World Economic Forum. I just wanted to say, like, our logo that you see.
The logo?
That way.
Right.
That way. I need to mirror myself. Our logo, the Civilian Discourse logo, all AI. So.
Oh yeah, Mastermind loves his AI. He's always like, "Woo!
Right.
I love them too. They're cute."
So a graphics designer is out of a job.
He's a graphics designer that's doing it and modifying it here and there. He's still using it. It's a
except
tool.
They already put those graphics.
Well,
we wouldn't be
yeah,
able to
the
afford to
graphics
see
are
them
already
taken.
there, and then they push them together through AI.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Michael? Though
So I was saying they've already made those jobs obsolete because, like, I would if I had the funding to choose to pay a graphic designer instead of use the AI, I would. But they have deprived the working class of the ability to pay other members of the working class.
Because anybody can do it. I see.
And then, like, putting together a business plan or a grant, you can ask AI to do that. So now
Aw.
grant writers are out of business.
I was a grant writer for a while.
You know,
they don't pay much anyway.
Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Okay, so this is why AI makes traditional education models obsolete and what to do about it. From the enemy there.
This article killed me.
September 21st, 2023, by the way. So, the educational model that dominates global institutions is outdated and fundamentally unprepared for the age of AI. This is where, even though they're neoliberals, we can kind of agree on certain points, you know?
Can you make it bigger?
Yep.
Cool.
Is that good?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. There you
Is
go. AI
this-
not only, go ahead.
Nope.
AI not only highlights the shortcomings of a traditional lecture and exam model, but actively undermines its value. A new skills-based model for education is better positioned for an AI era than traditional models because it is resilient to mindless AI use and cultivates skills AI lacks. This seems kind of like just a propagandistic statement to me. I don't know. Think about what you will. Like, what is a skills-based model? That seems like a kind of empty phrase. But the rise of generative artificial intelligence tools is transforming the higher education landscape, sparking both excitement and concern. While many celebrate their potential to revolutionize education, others caution that they will quickly erode academic integrity by enabling widespread cheating and plagiarism. We've already kind of covered that. While these concerns are valid and understandable, they overshadow a more critical dilemma. The educational model that dominates global institutions is outdated and fundamentally unprepared for the age of AI. And there's no stopping it. It seems like this AI is here to stay. So a new model is urgently needed, one grounded in learning science and primarily focused on teaching students how to think. Now note the World Economic Forum wants to teach your kids how to think, just putting that out there, through the cultivation of durable skills such as critical thinking and creative thinking, ethical reasoning, and emotional intelligence. All the right buzzwords, but how can you teach kids critical thinking when you take a shit on critical race theory and critical theory that Marxism comes from? And this, like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You can't teach people emotional intelligence if you're trying to teach them that gaslighting is emotional intelligence. Like, yeah, there's nothing ethical about capitalism. There's nothing reasonable about capitalism, but you're going to teach them that capitalism is ethical and reasonable. So this would not only future-proof students by allowing them to do what AI cannot, but also enable them to ethically and effectively utilize those tools and avoid being sidelined by them. So I don't think that it's possible to future-proof anything, but, agree to disagree, maybe. I guess people who like the preppers and the people who need to prevent like hurricane damage, they would agree that they would feel that maybe there's such thing as future-proofing. But you can't predict everything.
That's awesome.
So, why the traditional model is no longer sustainable. If we are to cultivate highly effective learners who can transfer skills from the classroom to the real world, we need to ensure they actively recall and deliberately apply information across both time and context, which is actively, as far as I'm concerned, the skills that we're eroding in our children with these tablets, the technology and everything is making it impossible for them to actively recall anything. That's what we were seeing in that video with the woman saying they can't read or write or remember anything. That's, I think, because this
that.
Yeah, too much, not just the technology, but like what's on.
Too many ramen noodles.
Yeah, too much toxicity all across the board. And to ensure active recall, deliberately apply information across both time and context. So they also need ongoing constructive feedback that addresses gaps in their understanding. All great things, but the capitalist system wants to prevent all of those things. So you're going to have to figure that out, World Economic Forum. There are 4 reasons why the most popular and prevalent educational model lecture plus high-stakes exams, fails to meet such conditions. Lectures are one-directional knowledge pipelines, which require students to passively consume information rather than actively operate on it. Research suggests time and again that passive learning is suboptimal learning, leading to poorer educational outcomes compared to other active learning methods. Knowledge transmitted via lectures frequently lags behind rapid advancements in technology, industry trends, and professional requirements. Consequently, many graduates enter the job market equipped with perishable skills ill-matched to employer needs and demands, like me, who went into college for radio and came out recognizing that those skills were already basically obsolete. High-stakes assessments, essays, exams only capture a single moment in a student's academic journey, offering retroactive insight, but little actionable feedback. They also tend to assess the wrong types of skills, memorization, and recall, and do so under artificial conditions that rarely mimic real-world scenarios where collaborative problem-solving and open resource solutions are commonplace. I'll just finish off there. So, AI not only highlights the shortcomings of a traditional lecture and exam model, but actively undermines its value. Students will rightly question why they should attend lectures when AI can interpret, visualize, and summarize complex information whenever and however they want, in ways tailored to their readiness level and needs. Grades on essays and exams cannot match the highly personalized, real-time formative feedback AI tools can offer. Furthermore, if their value upon graduation lies merely in their ability to recall specialized knowledge, they will soon realize that AI tools can duplicate that skill set at much lower cost with increased efficiency. So, thoughts on that?
When someone was like, Sula was saying they'll probably just replace teachers with AI, I'm thinking when I went to get my bachelor's, I was in front of the professors, and that was the best part of college, was learning from other people. But then when I went to go get my teaching degree, yes, I got to go in, but we were also doing a lot of like online learning and typing and communicating with people online like it was Facebook or something, you know? And I'm like, I want to meet the teachers. I don't want to be taught by a screen. Like half of the passion of learning is communicating with others. So anyway, that kind of.
Can I say?
As far as trying to replace, oh, sorry, go ahead, Toshmit.
What are you talking about? And what Sulu?
Mhm.
No,
She said
yes,
about
Sulamoon, yes.
yeah, she had said about replacing teachers with AI and stuff like that. Have you guys ever heard of Edgenuity?
That
I don't
that
want to. Please don't
that
tell
Let
me
me
it's
tell you
AI.
what
AI that's already
Edgenuity is
replacing
here,
a teacher.
and
It's horrible.
I'm gonna
It's
tell you what
I
replacing a
don't want to
teacher.
know. I get by the name already. I'm like,
In Bill, Louisiana, Edgenuity is an online program. Let's say a kid needs certain credits to graduate, or let's say a kid has been failing, blah, 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 blah. Edgenuity is like an online automated class. Like you want to say AI, you can say it's AI, right? Because you go through it, it's automatic. You listen to the lessons, and then you take the test.
So
And it's
I would
no,
compare it to like Lynda, Lynda, or what's that other one where you I
let me
forget the
ask you
name
this.
of it.
Do they have, I'm just going to ask you about those services you're about to ask, because Edgenuity does not have this. It fakes like it have it, a way that you, a teacher or a real person to come back and explain. Let's say a kid missed a question, right? And they didn't understand it. Well, in real life, a teacher would explain it to the student based on their individual learning needs, right? But Edgenuity has like a video, a generic video that
That's
will
it.
come back and re-explain it, and the
well,
kid's lost again. So, and
that's
then
not AI though. Like the whole thing with AI that they're talking about is for the World Economic Forum, like pushing for it, is that they're doing like individualized plans based on those incorrect answers.
that's pretty much
So they're
how
not going to
Edgenuity
just
is.
leave your kid out floating. They're going to tailor it to them, and that's what's so
It
great
is.
about it.
It's tailored
Yeah,
to the
I mean,
kid.
She's saying
that's
that
what they're
it's
saying.
still tailored to the kid, but
Mhm.
there's no
And it's
like
built into their graduation plan and curriculum. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
it's still tailored to the kid, but the problem with it is even though it's being tailored to the kid, there's no interaction. It's just like some video, and the kid isn't able to in real time ask you a question. Wait, stop right there. What did you just say? Let me try
Oh,
to
clarification. Right.
comprehend that.
It's none of that.
Like explain it a different way
Right.
for me because I'm not getting it. It's not that. It's just like watch this video
Right.
and shut the fuck up.
And shove it down your throat. Right.
It's
Which
a
is
form of
sometimes what real
aggression.
teachers have to do. I will have kids, we got a thousand things on our roster today or whatever. And little Johnny's asking me a question. I'm like, not right now, Johnny, we got to get out of here. I mean, sometimes you just can't. But yeah,
Yeah,
to
but you
AI, I don't know what's happening here.
both of
I'm
you will
so
live
sorry.
to see another day and they could still ask you that question later. So I wanted to I have two videos. I don't know how much one of them is 14 minutes. I don't know if you want me to I'll tell you the name of the video. It says exploring the promise and perils of AI in education. And I thought it was kind of interesting and we could like stop it as I mean, first of all, do you guys want to watch it? Um,
I mean, I
and
had a couple questions for Toss and just addressing the WEF article,
okay,
WEF article that
okay.
we had read. When you
And
were
then
talking about, oh, please, I'm sorry.
just
I'll let
one
you
more.
on.
And then I have a video about how China is using artificial intelligence in their classroom, and I'm pretty I'm pretty sure you're gonna want to see that one. It's only 6 minutes
Okay.
because it is I have so many thoughts on it. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
I'll
So
be
go
quick.
ahead, better half.
I just was going to ask Toss,
Toss.
huh? Is my hearing?
Oh, Toss. I was just trying to
Yeah.
get her attention.
Oh, it's okay. When you were talking about the more veteran teachers and current teachers and the argument over technology, was the argument about using technology to teach the kids or using technology to like improve their own teaching skills? Because I left the scene when we were just using it for ourselves for analytics and to catch like plagiarism and stuff like that.
So before COVID, technology was used just like you just said as some way to enhance
A tool.
your lessons, to add something of relevance to the kids' learning experience. But after COVID,
It went
we went
downhill.
to virtual learning. We went to hybrid
Right.
learning where we had to teach kids at home. You had to have your lesson had to be uploaded
We did
into
that.
I think
Yeah.
you
like
mean
Google
during. I think you
Classroom.
mean during COVID.
Yeah,
During COVID.
during and after like during COVID.
Yeah,
and
my
they had
son
to
stayed
adjust.
home for 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
Mhm.
that pushed kids back. And like I said, it pushed a lot of those teachers who were uncomfortable with technology out of the classroom.
Okay.
It
If I may,
affected me personally. You know what I'm saying? I had a co-teacher who
oh,
was
yeah, that
older and
sucked.
who did not like technology. And so when she had to use it, instead of her working with me and learning together how we could implement it, she just turned to get like it was like no, you know what I mean? It was a negative experience.
Right. Even though it was going to help the kids at the time, she didn't want to do the Zoom thing and all that, which is
But she had to.
right.
It was
Right.
mandatory that we do it, So
Yeah.
she was
Right.
uncomfortable with it.
Okay.
Just like they squeezed out the people who didn't want to get the vaccine or the mask.
Yeah, that
The
too.
way that they're implementing things to like with this technology to say if you're not on board, then you can go work in a different field, or whatever. You can get a new job.
Yep.
Mm.
They did that not
Well,
only in education, but
answer me
across
this too, is you were saying that, it having the kids in these environments during COVID and all these teachers were like, they can't read, they can't write, when they got back. That was the, parents trying to work from home and,
Mhm.
the stress of that and all that. But I kept him home and he jumped to, I worked with him as much as I could while I was taking care of things and doing all these other things. We just do what we can for our
But
children.
the
I don't know.
lessons itself was so
He was
watered down
advanced.
because no, I mean like some of the teachers who were not used to putting lessons on technology or
Right.
incorporating it, they were just learning basics. So some of the
Oh,
lessons and the
not even
information that the
AI,
students
just
were getting,
uploading.
yeah, I'm
Google
saying.
Classroom.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's not
Exactly.
good. They
They
gotta, they
consider
gotta,
Google
a good
Classroom
teacher
AI.
reflects and changes and keeps going.
On
Yeah.
technology. Yep.
I mean, I like Google Classroom.
We made
That's
it work.
tech. Yeah. I don't
But
know when.
there's other great platforms that incorporates things. And this is another question for Nahilia. So
Nahilo.
Nahila. I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to get it right. My bad.
Mill,
Can you say it for me?
Illinois. No.
Nahilo.
Nahila.
There's
Nahila.
no IO at the end.
I
It's
don't know
just
why
I
my
just
Nahilo.
mind.
pronounce it Nihilo. Right?
I'm like Jack.
Oh, even I'm fucking it up.
Say
But
it
I
right.
don't. This is the same way with my name, Michael. Wherever people would pronounce my name, Mikhail, and stuff. The way instead of correcting everybody, I just say my name has two pronunciations. However you pronounce it, and however I pronounce it.
I used to call you Mikhail.
So
I don't
I
mind.
know, that's what I wanted to say. Mikhail. Yeah, I was like,
got
am
it
I
from
saying
Abby.
that right?
It works. I
Yeah.
think that's like the pronunciation, the Scandinavian, more it's the way it's supposed to be pronounced, kind of thing. But I don't know. Different
So-
cultures pronounce things differently.
This is what I want to ask you about. Do you notice how AI is not? It's not just like going to be coming into the classroom, but AI is messing with like people who receive phone calls for their medicines, their finances, or whatever. There's voice AI that can sound like or come from a specific number.
Yeah.
A specific number. You know what I mean? Like AI in the criminal world. Like let's say kids are not learning the curriculum in school, but they're being taught about how to use AI inappropriately and scam people. Like the AI scams. I think that is going to accelerate like iPhone, like how iPhones every
Exponentially.
yeah. That's I think like the troubles and the dangers of AI being accessible in the different styles. Like if you can change and alter your voice, and you could be a principal or a parent. Tell me how a kid is
It's
not
like
going
the
to
equivalent of
manipulate.
erasing, and changing
Yeah,
that F to a
exactly.
B. Yeah.
Exactly.
When they, I did that once.
You did, Abby.
Abigail, you
So did
seemed a
I.
little too prideful in that one right there.
Me
I
too.
was so
Yeah,
excited
you
about
had
it.
to- yeah.
And then I pulled it up to a C.
Better have. What?
I pulled it up to
I
a
did it
C.
too. Man, I had a strict father.
My nephew
You
tried
bet I
to
did.
change a F to an A, and I looked. I said,
No, a
That's
B.
I
"This
never
is
did
you
it.
are insulting me. Let me show you how to do this."
I don't think
You never did that, right?
I don't remember
So,
doing that.
I just take everything in moderation, right? And using it like a tool instead of, You know, AI with the deep fakes too. There's really, like we were talking about on another show, was they're going to have ways to spot deep fakes. So, like looking at the eyeballs. You know, if they're
use
blinking
AI
a lot.
to detect the AI deep fake, right?
Yeah. So they're going to give tools to teachers. Like I had a tool that would help me find plagiarism. So I just run that crap right through. You know, you fight with more technology.
Another training that a teacher will have to go.
Yeah.
To
You have to, like when I was going to school to get my master's, you have to put your paper through this thing and, then it gets and you can only have like 20, like less than 25% of.
Oh, they made you do it. That's
plagiarism.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to do it ourselves.
Totally
but what I wanted to say, a lot of people get fooled by Photoshop. So you think AI is not going to fool them? Especially the elderly. They are in such danger these
That's
days.
with anything though, right?
But it's way worse now because, like y'all said, they don't want to learn new technology, so they're more susceptible to scams than we are. Like phishing, phishing emails.
Look how they got crazy over Trump and Elon Musk doing that dance. You remember that dance video right after that interview?
Well,
they really had people
thinking it was
real, or like just.
That's because people aren't questioning
anything
sources, and that's part of the national standard is media literacy. Yeah, we talk about financial literacy or whatever, but also understanding what websites are we looking at? Are they reliable? Can we trust them? You know, what's the history?
Can I click on this link from my email?
Oh.
Let me check the email source to make sure it's legitimate. Should I be giving my information over the phone to someone just because they said they were this and that and are scaring me that I need to do this right now? You know, like
the rush.
There's not enough literacy about that.
I was going to say about like the COVID test where we're going to come up with an algorithm to detect like a deep fake or something. That reminds me of like the PCR test where we've got we've come up with a technology to determine the truth of a matter on our behalf. And we rely fully on this technology to tell us what is the truth and what is not the truth. And then so how do you check the test? How do you know that your algorithm is telling you that the deep fake is real and that it's not malfunctioning? So people
Masterminds.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Mastermind said, look for the six-figure
fingers.
man.
Well, they're getting better now, Mastermind, actually, with they're getting the number right. But what they're doing is it's more like jerky movements. And then they either don't blink at all or they're constantly blinking. That was something I was Norton Antivirus was teaching me about deep fakes this morning, actually.
Yeah. Cheryl, I took away all my, or should I say mom? I took away all my mom.
Don't make me jealous, Abby. You already hang out with my husband.
Have to share.
I'll take my mother-in-law too.
I know you're so generous, but I have. I took all that information away from my mom. Took away her mail, took away her bank accounts. I took it all away so they could say whatever they want. She can click on whatever she wants.
She's lucky to have
They're not getting nothing.
They still end up
and they still scare her.
Random text.
She knocks on my door, bangs on my door. April, look at this. And I'm like, Mom, that's a scam.
I need to get this physical right away.
But anyway, so I want to refocus. Do y'all want to watch this video because it's 14 minutes, or should I go straight to the China thing? Because I know you're gonna want to see the China one.
I think we should see the China one maybe.
Okay, and maybe I'll just play,
I'm
I'll
getting
play the other one on the outro. That's what we'll do. I'll play the other one on the outro.
Anyway, my takeaway from AI and teaching, one last point, is to enhance rather than replace. That's all.
I agree.
That line of thinking reminds me of though is the use of drugs. Is the argument is often that they can enhance as long as they're used in moderation.
What type of drugs?
Right?
Yeah, take a little,
Sounds very much
yeah.
like same line of reasoning, and the
Yes.
technology is addictive too. So it's
Yes, everything
like
in
that.
moderation. That's why my mother's 95. That's what she taught me.
but drugs are vilified. Often they're considered that you cannot use them without the slippery slope of becoming an addict kind of thing. And I think that it helps to have the more modern research about drug use and stuff and addiction to recognize actually that drugs can improve people's lives.
Yeah.
People who use drugs actually do get a benefit from them instead of just
some of them. Yes.
Right?
Misinformation caused us to have the kind of reaction to drugs or opinions of drugs.
Oh,
because
yeah.
they tell us that stuff
All
is
of it.
bad when it's not really bad. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of misinformation that
I
has
mean,
hit us.
if you tell us marijuana is
The gateway?
is horrible and it's a gateway drug, and then you smoke
People
marijuana
need it.
and you're
People
like,
need
well,
Gateway drug
shoot.
because it was illegal.
Yeah,
And
no, no,
and you
no.
could you would hang out, you go to buy some pot, and you had to go buy it from the crack dealer down the street because it was on the black market. Now that it's been legalized,
Yeah, and then
you know,
people,
I don't have to go to the crackhead's house.
people think, okay, if the government is telling me this about marijuana and I tried it, and I know it's not as bad as you're trying to boogeyman me into, then what else are you lying about? Let me snort a line of coke.
Yeah.
Give me that crack pipe.
Right, you don't believe them then.
AI,
Right.
right?
Yeah, you don't
Now
believe
they're
them.
gonna my kids are gonna or our kids are gonna go, you told me that this AI is gonna make the world into Terminator or whatever, and then we're all gonna die. And I went and I talked to it, and it was awesome, and it taught me everything that I didn't know. What the hell, right? And then now what are they gonna do? What's the crack that they move on to from AI or whatever?
Right.
Like a
Put the
3D
chip in their head. They put the chip in their head.
Yeah.
My son's
there you
already
go.
talking about it. I'm like, oh,
Well, they are
eat
talking
you
about
within.
that.
Yeah, I don't like transhumanism.
Kill your egregores.
I don't beat my kid. I'm just-
Me and you, yeah, we the same. Those are my favorites too. So
I missed it, Abby. What's your
Anyway,
favorite?
Oh, kill your egregore. Yeah.
You see it
Oh,
on
the
screen?
people's names. Oh, weed and mushroom. Oh.
I
Natural.
Natural.
If you
I
are
just
talking to your
I came with the
kids,
natural.
if you're treating your kids like human beings and not like science experiments, you know, if you're talking
Robots.
to them, because guess what? If you're not talking to them, their friends and social media is talking to them and telling
Right.
them a whole bunch of stuff that's not true, and then they have to sort it out for themselves. So, if anything, AI might be a little bit more honest than some of the, like who knows? I don't know.
Possibly.
It might tell kids some truth, and
Or-
it's not
or-
help
Can't
open
lie.
their eyes to something. Yeah, or you just never know.
AI can't lie. Is that what you just said,
In a
Michael?
sense, it's programmed to be incapable of lying.
Right? It's supposed to just
It
whatever.
can
That's what
accidentally.
it says.
That's supposedly what some people will definitely have. Like, are you fucking like? What kind of a bad take is that, right?
Right.
But
Whatever.
like, if it doesn't
It's
have
programmed
conscience,
in there.
if it doesn't have emotion, like it doesn't have
A
the
reason.
intent to
A
be
reason to lie, huh?
Okay.
able to do it intentionally. Yeah.
Yeah.
When they
Interesting.
turned on self-learning for Google and Microsoft, it immediately became racist. Because
I heard that.
It was self-learning from
Uh-huh.
people, on
Talking.
social
Mhm.
media and stuff, talking.
Mm.
It immediately became a racist piece of shit.
Mm.
And they
Great.
both had to turn it off. And
Mm.
then also facial
Learned
recognition.
behavior.
It says
With Google too. Great.
It's just proven. It's just
You don't even
learned
have to fight
behavior.
the little kids and rewash their brains from racism. You got to fight Google.
And then facial recognition turned out to be a racist tool as well, because the people who are programming it are programming it from their perspective. That's why DEI is very important, because if there was a black person or Asian person in the room, they'd be like, wait a fucking minute.
Well,
We
one of
need
the
to-
things, one of the things
Go
about AI that's we haven't touched on is the it's a big challenge to Marx's theory of labor theory of value, and so I think a big part of the drive behind rolling it out and improving it is the idea that that maybe the capitalists have in their minds that they can do away with their reliance on the workers for profit if they can produce this AI that can create the profit instead of the worker. The issue is that if Marx's theory is correct and being proven in real time by their efforts to produce all this AI, that by the more they maximize the AI, the more they reduce their profits, because the profits are derived from labor power of the worker, and the AI is not have the capacity to produce labor power because it's not a human being.
It's surpassed labor power, though. It's like money making money at this point, right? I mean, it's not even real. It's not even real anymore. It's not even a reflection of labor anymore. It has no value.
So,
yeah.
If no thinking is required for AI, right? No thinking is required. It's going to do whatever. If you ask it, it's going to do it, right? So I'm
And
saying,
you're gonna
like,
fall in line.
yeah. So I'm saying, think about this. If AI is going to become increasingly more a part of our lives, what's the use of education?
Yeah,
That's what we were talking about.
What do you mean, teachers?
I mean,
even teachers,
no,
like
education,
human-led?
not just teachers, just education. Like, because you can still be taught on life skills, like everyday a house, whatever your responsibilities are. You could learn that without being in a school. I'm saying, if AI comes in and we could just ask it whatever, like Abby said, we could ask it to write a
that's
grant.
the
We could
purpose.
ask it to do this. We could ask it to do whatever, and it does it. AI, what's this plus this? I mean, if a kid does if a kid doesn't need a teacher for those educational components, but a teacher,
I can
you
answer
still
that.
need to know how
I
to
get what
navigate
you're
life.
saying. You got to learn how to ask the question. You can't just go on Google if you're not, taught how to, not what to think, but how to think.
In the article. Yeah.
Is that, you've got to learn how to formulate the right question to get to the right answer.
Because look what we used to say in math class, and I'm pretty sure better half you heard this. My partner teacher and I used to tell the kids, you can put numbers in the calculator and it will give you an answer.
Right.
Now, will it be correct?
Exactly. If you don't know what you're doing, you're just parroting.
Multiply,
You can
divide,
put some
add,
numbers in the
subtract.
calculator,
Do you know
and
that?
it's going to give you a solution.
Right.
But was that the damn problem?
And how do you apply it?
If the AI gets smart enough, then what will happen is that what Toshman's pointing out there is that the education will stop. People will not need to act. It'll be like the fat people in the WALL-E. Remember the movie WALL-E, the cartoon movie, where they all had those chairs that they sat in, and they didn't have to use their legs
I
anymore.
love WALL-E.
Right?
He's
But
my
our
favorite.
brains will be that same way, right?
So
we
I
won't
have
need
a WALL-E collection.
the more educated the AI is,
right?
Like, all of our efforts will go into teaching the AI how to think, so that we don't have to anymore.
And at that point, they're going to download it in our brain. Let's go one step further, and we don't, they just think for us, and we'll just become like floating brains on
Except if
platforms.
there's
like
something
you're talking
wrong
about.
with the program when you download it.
I don't want that future. No.
So
no.
If AI takes control over all of these jobs, like we're saying, okay, well then, where are they going to get our tax dollars to do
They
these
already
wars and
They already have
maintain the country? Like,
there you
it's
go,
fake
Toss.
money.
They already
That's
have
fake
it.
money. That's fake money they create anyway. That shit don't even have no value on nothing. They could print
I
some
have the
more and
same
make up
question,
more.
Abby. I agree with you, Abby. Why would you
self-sabotage?
What's their motivation? Right. Why create it and then destroy it? It doesn't make sense.
Because I think they're in denial of the fact that they're proving themselves wrong with this labor theory, the labor power, the theory of value issue. If they get rid of the human beings that produce the value, thinking that the robot will be able to produce the same value as the human being, once you make the switch and you take out the brain that creates all that productivity, it's all going to fall apart, and they will only see that when it's all fallen apart, because they cannot be told what they already know, what they should already know, is that Marx was right, basically. But this is my bias, of course,
You see how you had that little smile? That little sly smile, right?
Hey, Mom, look, your secret writing language.
Cursive.
If you write it in cursive, it's gonna be
That's
a
Morse
secret.
code. That's Morse code.
That's Morse code.
Kids don't know how to read cursive. They like you writing in ancient Greek words and whatever. They like, what is that?
It's like you're writing MX VII. What's that number?
Roman number.
They don't know.
Oh my God, y'all. I just saw better half. I
Yes.
saw in the last week, I saw so many different techniques to solve basic mathematical problems. Like those TikTok videos will say, why didn't I learn this? Or whatever. When I tell you some things, it looks so simple. And I'm like, oh my God.
But you
Are
still
you
have
talking
to-
about Common Core or like the new
I
math
don't know
that
what
isn't
it
new
is.
anymore?
It's not Common Core. It's
No.
just like little different techniques to solve math problems.
Okay,
or
so-
Well, the whole
if you-
idea behind. Oh, go ahead, Abby. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Please.
you could talk. I'm gonna write it down. I'm gonna show you an example. Give me a marker.
So the thing with the Japanese and mathematics, maybe this is it. You come up with your own math. Math is a natural language, and we can all derive the same answer, but coming at different angles, which speaks to what Michael was talking about. Is we are trying to teach kids that they have individual, not how to get to the answer. I mean, the answer is the same. It's still 2 + 2 is 4, but you're not cramming the algorithm down their neck. You're letting their brain build those pathways to truly understand what 2 + 2 means, instead of being crammed an answer in your head. That's good teaching, is you let them come to that answer, you know?
Yeah, it gets down to the objective truth and the fact that you cannot escape subjectivity. So while there is
Yeah, there is no objective truth. That's what I was just going to
it's not
say.
that, no, but it's not that there is an objective truth. It's that the 2 + 2 = 4 is an objective truth.
Yes.
And subjectivity is the different perspectives that we have on what that objective truth might mean in our relative context, kind of thing.
Well, the subjective part is how to teach them that. Do we cram rote memorization down their throats where they have to do 2 +, you know, you don't even explain why 2 + 2 = 4, or you start to show them how to get to that, you know, like, I don't know. What's up, girls? What are you doing? Tell me.
Abby was just trying to write an
forgot
example
how
of
to
that
do
little
it.
quick math
My son's,
technique.
a math thing. Well, show me. What was it?
No, she
I
forgot
can't-
it.
I
all
forgot
right.
it already.
I'll see you later.
But it's very easy.
I
But
might
you
have to
still
go
have
soon,
understand the
just so you know.
concept. Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're almost at 2
let's
hours
just play
here.
this, and because this is
Uh-oh.
so
Is this going to make me
interesting.
cry? I didn't put mascara on.
Maybe,
Mm.
It might make you a
maybe
little
you're definitely gonna have some feels about it.
Mm.
是表示你的专注力显示的很高，
Teachers at this primary school in China
蓝色是走神了，
know exactly when someone
sorry.
isn't paying
We got the
attention.
close, double
白
close
色
caption.
就是你可能跟网络还没有连接好。
These headbands measure each student's level of concentration. The information is then directly sent to the teacher's computer and to parents. China has big plans to become a global leader in artificial intelligence. It has enabled a cashless economy where people make purchases with their faces. A giant network of surveillance cameras with facial recognition helps police monitor citizens. Meanwhile, some schools offer glimpses of what the future of high-tech education in the country might look like.
做出选择吧，Good job。
Do not put
Classrooms have
cameras in the
robots that
classroom.
analyze
Oh,
students'
no.
health and engagement levels. Students wear uniforms with chips that track their locations. There are even surveillance cameras that monitor how often students check their phones or yawn during classes. These gadgets have alarmed Chinese netizens. But schools say it wasn't hard for them getting parental consent to enroll kids into what is one of the world's largest experiments in AI education. A program that's supposed to boost students' grades while also feeding powerful algorithms.
为了就是国家的这个研究呀发展呀，我觉得是没有问题。
I don't think it's a problem.
The government has poured billions of
it's
dollars
for-
into the project,
yeah, that's-
bringing together tech giants, startups, and schools. We got exclusive access to a primary school a few hours outside of Shanghai.
同学
Morning, everyone. To see firsthand how AI tech is being used in the classroom. For this 5th grade class, the day begins with putting on a brain wave sensing gadget. Students then practice meditating.
现在想象我们眉心。Wait a minute. Better half is triggered.
You're muted, better.
I am triggered left and right. They like took what I thought was a great tool and like put it on steroids at first with all the tracking. But I do kind of get like if you're have informed instruction, I mean that's really analyzing human behavior, which is awesome tools for teaching, for pedagogia, for education science. Like to be able to have those results right away. I mean, I kind of like it. It's scary. Okay, go ahead.
Everybody say good night, Jack.
Good night, Jack.
Good night,
Jack.
Jackie.
To
I'm
me,
just saying,
that's too
I'm
much
getting
control.
eugenics is coming to mind with this. Like
What
I
is
know
eu-
China has
oh,
not
eugen-
overcome their problem of eugenics, and this is going to
Yeah.
be a disaster because, like this kind of technology, if you're going to have a eugenic mindset, is going to create so many problems in society. But you believe that you're going to be making society better by doing so. That's the classic mistake
No,
of
it's
eugenics.
control.
I don't know.
Well,
Okay,
I'm
we're
not
only
looking at their like
minutes
biological
in.
background. I'm
Yeah.
looking at their facial expressions to see if I'm boring them or
But
they
they-
missed an answer or
They're going to use that technology to make the problem of behaviorism worse, where they're going to think that by modifying somebody's behavior, you can create a better person.
Right.
And that's how you experiment on people based on little microaggressions.
That's horrible.
China
Yeah.
does think about social credits, right?
Oh, that
Like-
Black Mirror episode? Mm-hmm.
Don't they give out? Isn't that actually true in China? They do social credits and stuff. But anyway,
It's a TV show.
We're only
Know
2
that.
minutes in.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
Practice
Oh, you're
meditating.
Gotta bring it back up.
Imagine a warm light in your eyebrow.
The device is
Meditating.
made in China and has 3 electrodes, 2 behind the ears and 1 on the forehead. These sensors pick up electrical signals sent by neurons in the brain. The neural data is then sent in real time to the teacher's computer. So while students are solving math problems, a teacher can quickly find out who's paying attention and who's not.
说明这段时间他是有点在那走神的。
A report is then generated that shows how well the class was paying attention. It even details each student's concentration level at 10-minute intervals. It's then sent to a chat group for parents.
就是他可以看到每个人的评
That's
分
the bad part. No, no,
The
no, no,
reports
no.
are detailed, but whether
You
these
have access to
devices
everyone
really
else's
work
kids'
and what they
information.
exactly measure isn't as clear. We were curious if the
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Sorry.
I was
What's
just
his name?
saying that's a bad idea. Could you imagine some of the setting? If I had called parents and told them that their child wasn't paying attention, someone would get the crap beat out of them. You don't want parents to know every single move in the
We're gonna
classroom.
talk about
That's
that.
terrifying.
They're
So,
gonna
go
talk
ahead.
about that.
so
Sorry.
wait a minute, 1 second.
No, you're fine.
I was just about to say that we have an app. I forgot the name of it right away, but it's an app that we use, and Better Half, you probably know about it, that you can check during class, because we were using Chromebooks after COVID, right? Everybody,
Right.
all kids had Chromebooks, and you had to incorporate those in your lesson so you could
Yes.
see. So that was we didn't have headbands, but if a kid
No.
was logged on,
Mhm.
and we had the ability to see how long or where they logged on. Let's say they
And how
left
many
out-
times they were clicking or
Yeah, if we left out
time in
lesson,
between. Mhm.
I could go to another video and watch, cartoons, and some of them were watching porn during the lessons. You feel what I'm saying? So I
Who-
promise you, God,
wait,
I'm not lying. In our
Your
class,
internet providers, like for the Chromebooks, they have blocks in place
they
so they
did.
can't.
That's
do
I'm
that.
saying
How are
they
they?
enhanced the blocking. They
Yeah.
did better jobs at blocking. Whenever we went to after COVID, when we went to Chromebooks and Zoom and all that stuff, then that they were able to. I forgot what the name of the app was, but
I
it
want to
was
go kick
very,
your school
very
district's
good.
ass.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
It's
Because you could
Republican.
block them. You could block the kids
So is ours.
access from. You could block them from having access to the internet after you see them, leaving the classroom or doing whatever. So to me, having these damn headbands on is more intrusive than if you have your freedom and you're on the Chromebook and you're keeping up with the class, you're flipping to the page, you're answering the, those prompt problems. See, that's enough. But when you
I
start
think
putting
it's only
stuff
helpful if
in-
it helps the teacher, not to punish the students for not paying attention in class.
Yeah,
It's to
that's what
help
I'm
the
saying,
teacher
but-
be a better teacher.
Yeah,
It's
that's what it was used for.
analyzing how bored your students are is your fault, not theirs.
Right.
I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, I like the fact that you could use it to do that, but I'm also
Yeah.
saying as far as the kid themselves as a human being, to me, China putting these damn headbands on is one step away
Yes.
from, let's say the kid is off task or doing something inappropriate. The hell you gonna
Zit.
do next? Zap him? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't
Get
want
to
no
work. The
headband on my
teacher's all
child.
zip.
I don't like that. That's intrusive to me. It's controlling and intrusive.
Okay,
And
well,
I just hope that don't come
Let's
around here.
finish being depressed.
Dawn.
And
That's pretty weird, depressed.
Look at better half body language.
Yeah,
Like,
her body's like
Cartoons to watch, you know.
totally changed. Look, she's like all anxious doing this.
what the
So,
hell is this?
kill your egregores. Old man Barker, Mom, I just gave y'all a wrench. I realized you didn't have one. All our day ones get a wrench. Nobody else.
aw.
They exactly measure isn't as clear. We were curious if the headbands could actually measure concentration, so one of our reporters tried on the device.
但我没有感觉自己特别集中。
This is a new technology with still fairly little research behind it.
Theodore Zanto is a neuroscientist at the University of California, San Francisco. He was surprised to learn that this tech, called electroencephalography, also known as EEG, is being used in the classroom on children. It's usually used by doctors in hospitals and labs.
EEG is very susceptible to artifacts. And so if you are itchy or just a little fidgety, or the EEG wasn't set up properly so that the electrodes didn't have a good contact, affects the signal.
Or if you had too
Despite
much
the chances for
caffeine.
false readings, teachers told us the headbands have forced students to become more disciplined.
Oh,
上课回答我的问题，就是他们的声音会比平常更响亮。
Teachers say the students now pay better attention during class, and that has made them study harder and achieve higher scores.
上课认真听讲，作业做的基本上是全对的。
But not all students are as enthusiastic.
When we first wore the headband, it felt like it was controlling us. Here, the headband
This
is tight.
fifth grader, whom we caught dozing off in class, told us his
Aw.
parents punish him for low attention scores.
That's what I
And that
meant.
kind of data adds a new kind of pressure for students.
你想啊，如果在一次考试全班人都考了95分以上，就你考了一个85。
proud to be in solidarity with my communist brothers there. With this.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
I feel like that's not where communism should be going. That's not what communism is to me, right? Like, you got to get the eugenics out of it. That's what a problem. The Soviet Union also had a problem with eugenics, and eugenics is also a part of the Nazi Germany. So that can't be a part of it, right? That's something that people have to recognize.
How are you connecting the headband to eugenics? Because it's not like they're not getting they're getting data from their facial expressions. They're not getting biochemical data.
They're getting data from their brain waves from behind the ear.
Yeah, but it's
behind
not
the earlobe,
biochemical. What he's
So
talking
what I'm
about.
doing, I'm kind of evolving the definition a bit. So I'm glad you
okay.
could bring that up, right? Because the traditional definition of eugenics is like manipulating the DNA and the genetics to produce offspring that is inherently better than the previous generation. I think that they're trying to do this without the physical direct manipulation of the
Behavior modification.
modification. Over
It's called Pavlov's dog.
changes
Like,
the DNA through behavior instead of physical
Right.
manipulation.
Epigenetic. That's
Right.
epigenetics.
I
Yes.
still think it's eugenics.
Not eugenics, but it's epigenetics when you modify DNA through the environment.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear what the kid said? The kid said about the device. It was controlling. It was tight.
I'm sure.
And then automatically, the report and the data, they're talking amongst themselves. It's going back to our parents. Our parents are going to know everything we're doing. So that automatically alters every freaking thing that the kid does.
And that boy
So
said
that's not even authentic, genuine responses from a kid. It's controlled. It's controlled because it's fear. It's fear
Well, it's
dominated.
double pressure. So if a child isn't performing in school, they're already being reprimanded by the school, and then they get home and get reprimanded for it, for a behavior they did I mean, if I was held accountable for something I did this morning, like yawning when Mastermind was talking, you know, whatever, like that is horrible. That is not good. That is not good. Not good.
Well, it reminds me, it's like inventing God, right? So this before
Mm.
we had all that technology, they would tell the kids that if you went out of line, God would see it, God would hear it, and would punish you for it. Now you've created a device that can literally hear and
Do it.
see
Oh,
what you're thinking,
it's Santa Claus.
like it's fucking God.
Right.
Hey,
Or
man,
God.
just for fun, on the real, I tell
Yeah.
y'all, if we did an experiment at our school, at any one of my schools that I'm in charge of, if we did an experiment with that headband, I promise to God y'all would be laughing every day of your lives for the rest of your lives. It would probably be hilarious as to how
I'd
our
do
kids
it. Why not? I'm so expressive.
about
They'd be
our
like,
kids.
what? All the data would be like screwed up.
Our kids, our parents, that would be like quite an experience.
So, Solar Moon brings up an interesting question. What's the waves doing to their brains?
Mm-hmm. That's what I thought.
Well,
Because
quantum
everything.
entanglement, I would say.
Snarky, if you're out there,
I know Snarky needs Snarky. We need to talk to Snarky.
Wait,
Hey,
the
man,
waves?
Okay.
Okay, so an EGG is usually, traditionally, it was created in the 70s. I actually won a science fair in the 3rd grade because I did a study on it with caffeine and your effects on the body. And I got to party with Siegfried and Roy. That was fun. But it's an EKG. Never mind. I don't know what an EGG is.
Yeah,
It was an EKG that I used to mess with. Never mind.
No, EKG.
My bad.
no, he said EEG.
He said EKG.
Yeah, my bad.
No, he
I'm
said
not. It's not the same thing.
Okay.
EEG.
I mixed it up. I'm a pseudo-intellectual. I
Medical
don't know what.
terminologies, you know, they're easy to mix up. And it's
Yes.
important
Yeah.
not to.
I don't
We
know.
won't get into it.
Let's watch the rest of it though, because I got.
Okay,
Yes.
let's
You're
watch
killing
the
me.
rest of it. One last comment that I think is okay. Sula Moon says, "Isn't eugenics calling the weaker undesirables?" So it's not really just about race. It's like in Michael's terms, it's not about race. It's about like the lesser, almost like Darwinism.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the inferior must be called, like calling the weaker.
Evolving.
Yeah. And the idea about undesirables is that like beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So the issue is who you think is inferior is who you feel is undesirable to reproduce.
Right.
So,
Sula's right. Disabled, like
disabled, yeah.
getting rid of certain diseases.
Neurodivergent.
Mhm. Choosing a boy or a girl.
So the thing about China like lifting everyone out of poverty and stuff, that's what makes it a little bit of it's good to challenge my my claim that there's some eugenics going on there, just to make sure if there is, then and the challenge fails, then we've learned something.
Epigenetics.
Because what I'm saying, they're not really culling the weak. They're not leaving them to starve and die on the streets, or whatever. Like they're taking care of their poor. So it is a bit of a lot of sussing out what's really going on there.
Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna head back. It's only a minute left, and then
Yay.
we can wrap up. So
But I had fun.
this young man said, "Oh, go ahead."
I was just saying I had fun. I was like, yay, there's only a minute. But then I was like, oh, bummer. I had fun. Thank you,
It was
guys.
fun. It was fun. Thank you for accepting the invite. So he says, imagine there's an exam and everyone gets a score of 95 or higher. I'm trying to read it just in case people aren't like looking, but they're listening. Okay, so that's where we're starting.
一次考试全班人都考了95分以上，就你考了一个85。
But you get a score of 85.
你有一个
Wouldn't you feel behind?
Companies
Not
we
supposed to
interviewed
tell
said the
students
data
their
can go to
grades, other people's
government-funded
grades.
research projects. We spoke to parents who were unclear about where the data ended up, and they didn't seem to care too much. Santos says there's likely no privacy protection at all.
In a classroom, if you're trying to make an assessment of an individual student, you really can't anonymize
Stick
it.
figures.
Experts and citizens alike are sounding alarms about various aspects of the country's huge push into artificial intelligence. These classrooms are laboratories for future generations. And while these new tools may potentially help some 200 million students raise their grades, just how this all
Wow.
works out won't be apparent until they become adult citizens.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
It just said that it helped them all raise their grades. I'd like to see the stats on that. I mean, I know what you're saying, behavior modification, Mikhail, but as a teacher, that excites me. Like, wow, you could. Here's America's teachers complaining that our kids can't read or write or do anything, and then here's China, like, look, this is how we do it. This is how we get them to read and write and advance our culture. And
Because America gets points for trying to find ways out of working. Americans don't like to really work sometimes, man. I'm not even on front. Like, people will try to find a way out of doing the job if they are not interested in a job, not invested in a job.
Right.
They'll find easy ways to be like, oh, this is not going to work because of this. That's how teachers do. If a teacher does not want to teach a kid or teach something or make, go the extra mile to reach that kid individually, then they're going to just pass the buck. They're going to either give them an A, give them an F, or not teach them, leave them in a corner. That's what's happening in the classroom. That's why kids are being lost and shit like left out, because
it's prompt,
if they're
not
getting
just
it at
the
home,
teachers,
and a teacher,
parents.
It's a collective.
Yes.
It's a collective responsibility for
Yes,
us.
it is.
And so what I'm saying is, when people pass the buck, whether it's parents passing the buck to the teachers saying parents should be doing this, just keep pointing fingers. The kid in years will continue to pass on.
Well,
And
it's
before you know it, the kid is
multifaceted.
going to be 18 years old, a lost
need
adult
AI.
in our society.
So,
Wow,
Tosh
Toss.
looked up EEG. So EKG must be for the heart.
Yeah.
I think.
Mastermind actually said that. I just
Toss, when you talk about that, it's multifaceted, but that's where AI is a tool. It could help me be a better teacher. It could help students learn in faster, more efficient ways and have those individual plans. But does it have to be at the level of China with the little stick figure
No.
kids?
Guess where it has to be? It has to be ethical and with integrity.
Yeah.
If you're going to make those things accessible to kids and help them to elevate and advance their skills and knowledge, it has to be equally given and distributed to all these kids in these different schools. It has to be equally given to the same private schools as the charter schools as the public schools.
That would never
The
happen.
training, that's why it doesn't match, because it's not fairly, distributed.
This is where I was saying it's like a trolley
It's not
problem.
fair.
Because it's like with China rolling out all that, like going full tilt with all this stuff. It's almost like they've sacrificed the autonomy of these children to kind of freely choose to be smart or stupid kind of thing. It's like forcing them to elevate their thinking, and we can quibble about the ethics of doing that to these children, but if it pays off for them in the end, where they'll have more educated children that will give birth to the next generation of superior children,
right?
Then they will feel like the ethics of it outweigh the benefits, outweigh the harms done, like into the collective. So,
Wow, I appreciate your bigger ideas of it. Like, where is it in 3 generations from now? That's good. Thank you, guys.
Oh, I don't think it's gonna be good because we're in a capitalist society. So when you're in a capitalist society, nothing is gonna be.
anything that
It's always gonna be used.
supposed to be turned to gold gets turned to shit.
I'm an optimist about capitalism. Even I believe in green capitalism and B corporations and just capitalism with ethics.
Well,
Not being greedy, still being able to make a
Well-
profit. That's a whole other show. But I don't know.
I
I'm
hope
even
that green
optimistic.
capitalism can save the world instead of
being
capitalism killing us all, right? But hopefully we'll see.
B corporations, is that really capitalism when all of the employees own the company?
Oh yeah, they can make a profit off of it. They can take money out of it and then go buy a little house with it or a car or something.
Right,
They
that's
can,
not
whereas the
that's not
nonprofit,
capitalism.
me pulling assets out of a company sure is capitalism. Oh yeah.
No, all of the
Oh.
employees have ownership in the company,
Uh-huh.
and they use the money from the company to better their lives.
Right.
It's not,
It's the
Whereas
profit
if
is shared. That's where that's I think that people kind of they support capitalism in their mind without recognizing that capitalism inherently is the individual single owner of a company who has the right to take that profit of the rest of the workers'
Right.
labor. And so
Exactly.
that as soon as you divorce this, like take away this idea that that one person has the right to all those other people's value that they produced, then you can't quite call it capitalism anymore.
Well, but you're misspeaking. B corporations aren't just employee owned. That's a part of it. The thing is you with any corporation, you have like a board of supervisors, right? Or not supervisors, but just a board that tells you what your bylaws are, and you have to follow those bylaws. And in America, we can sue corporations, the board can, if you don't make a profit. Like I'm giving you money to like run this company for me as a CEO or CFO, whatever. And you decided like, if I decided to, instead of throwing things away, I'm going to recycle them or whatever. And it cost the company more money and they lost their profits that quarter. They could fire me. They could sue me. They could do all these things. Well, with a B corporation, I can choose the bylaws or the business mission over the financials, even though I've got investors in this contract. A B corporations just protect you from compromising your values. Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
Like a nonprofit.
Look them up after this.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
it's very cool, and maybe we should do a show on it or something.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
And maybe we can invite you, Better Half. So
I didn't talk too much.
You talked just enough. Everybody talked just enough.
I thought she was going to get supremely mad at me, but better half, I just want to say thank you.
Oh,
I wouldn't get mad at you.
And yeah, but I thought you were going to get mad because I talk about it on the regular.
No,
But
I just hear
it's
anger in
fine.
your voice though, and frustration about teachers in general, or like just the system of education, and that breaks my heart.
Yeah, I
you know,
love my students, you know.
You're going to
and
save it for them. Yeah.
I just
Do
want
it.
my students to have a fair, like my students and their families, because like I told you, if a parent does not themselves feel comfortable and confident as a student, and then they become parents, what do you think they're teaching their kids about education and learning?
Right.
They're not saying, "Oh, it's the greatest thing in the world." They have a bad taste in their mouth for it. So I'm like, when you're talking to a kid with that, you helping the whole family find resources.
A lot of people don't
Better
like
Half,
education.
You know how some people, arrogant people say, if you can't do, you teach. You know, that bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Oh my God, teaching's the hardest job I've ever had.
When Tosh Schmidt was in elementary school, and they asked her what she wanted to be, she said a teacher.
Oh.
Like she's wanted to be a teacher her whole life. So this is exactly what she wants to do. And then she said, "Little baby Tosh."
If you would have saw that little Tweety Bird head, girl.
No, it was a big Tweety Bird hair.
Or the hair.
I want to see a kid picture of Mike. That's what I want to see.
I bet he was
so cute. Look at his face.
Yeah, I
Look
think
at that face.
Little toe head.
I was a cute.
I bet that little face was so
She said,
cute.
yeah, I was a cute.
Look at him. Look at
People tell me anyway.
him. That's a smooth G right there, man. Mastermind too. I would love to see little Mastermind.
He had a really big head.
No way.
Oh yeah, it was
He has
huge.
a really big head. They both
Brainiac.
they had a 5 head.
She called me 5 head.
I feel bad for Cheryl. It was big. Oh, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
I'm gonna head out and take care of my mom.
Do like our little ending of shouting out the
Thanks
shows and
again.
stuff.
Okay.
so much
Thank you
for
guys.
being a part of this.
Bye, Michael.
Michael.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
See us shortly. Soon.
Tosh Schmidt is left as well. So
Left the building.
Sorry, I cut you off, Michael. Bye.
I'll just see you next week, right?
Oh
Soon
yeah.
enough.
Oh yeah. Ooh, with Abby Dew. I'm excited about that as well. With the murder journalism murders, or maybe even whistleblowers, which I think they're one and the same. But I'm excited too to have you guys on
Thank
Tin
you
Rabbit.
so much.
Yeah, we may not run as long. I'm kind of like, cut the show now, make them want more. Okay, a little bit more rigid,
That's
like
a
those
good
little.
thing,
I'm going to make everybody wear headbands on the show.
I have a bit of a mind of marketing about it. So
Cookie loves it. All right, bye.
I already got mine.
see ya. Well, I don't know where my headphones are. They're around here somewhere.
Okay, so let's do our wrap up thing because
Yeah.
we won't be back until next week. Monday, civil discourse with myself and Mastermind. That's at 5 p.m. Central at Abby Do Abby Don't. Y'all see the handles. Go subscribe to all these YouTube channels
Just
because we'll be putting our
yeah, don't put that extra R in mine. Sorry. Nyla Nostrum without the first R.
Oh, I messed that up.
It's all good. We'll correct it over time, but so, but sorry, I interrupted you. You're shouting out the
No,
show.
keep going. I will fix it.
So, Civilian Discourse on Mondays at 5 p.m. Central, and then we got Black Athletes in Politics, Perspectives from the Boot on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Central.
At Abby Do Abby Don't.
Abby Do Abby Don't. Yep. And then Tin Rabbit podcast Wednesdays at 9 or 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern for me. And then Noteworthy Thursdays.
But wait, but you have to go to Tin Rabbit podcast for that one. Don't come.
Yeah,
to
you gotta.
Abby Do
That's
Abby
right.
Don't.
That's right. And then I also wanted to this week shout out the Trailer Park Pundit because Chandra. I'm sorry, I just forget.
Yes.
Yeah,
She's having some medical difficulties.
yeah, she's just having some issues with battling some cancer there, and she's really showing some serious conviction and spirit there, pushing through the tough odds of being someone in the trailer park, having to with the resources that entails having to deal with this kind of a problem. So real inspirational. I'm going to be kind of watching her a little bit more closely for the time being. So anyone wants to show some support, someone like her could probably use some donations a little bit more now than your Democratic politician or Republican, right? That's my spiel today.
Oh, we don't have bad cookies. Do you have a channel Bad Cookies? Well, we should discuss that so we can update our banners.
Yeah.
If you wanna throw it in here, I'll put it up. Cookies. So, and then Thursday, you're coming right back over here at Abby Do Abby Don't with myself and what'd you say? I always say Nihilo, but you said Nihilo.
That's I'm probably mispronouncing the original Latin pronunciation, but I find that's easier. It sounds better and it's easier, so that's what I'm turning it into.
Nyla Nostrum.
Yeah.
Come right back over here for Noteworthy on Thursday. So we love you all. That's why you all have a wrench. You are our day ones. So we appreciate you. And I guess we will see you on the other side.
Thanks, guys, for watching as always. Appreciate
always.
you. Audience is everything. So.